also let us know of your initiatives that you have within your community.
Pour qu'a faire nous connaître quelques initiations que vous même vous gagnez dans la communauté.
I would love to hear more about your projects, the things that you would need assistance with that I could share with my team.
M'ta remè connaître quelques difficultés que vous gagnez, quelques défis que vous gagnez, que qu'a partager avec monde que travaille avec yo.
So come on down and let us know how best we can assist you to achieve your objectives.
Et vini faire nous connaître qui aide ou besoin pour qu'a achever quelques bi que vous gagnez.
So we have Louis Georges coming in a few minutes. He's going to be doing a presentation on immigration.
Nous avons Louis Georges qui vini, c'est lui-même qui fait une présentation sur l'immigration.
We have resources available for you to pick up, to use in order to fill out your forms, ask your questions.
Nous avons des ressources qui là pour qu'a venir point et nous avons réponse pour quelques questions que vous avez.
We also have Ms. Sands from BAF.
Nous avons Ms. Sands, c'est lui-même qui travaille dans BAF.
Who will be speaking to a wonderful initiative that they are hosting.
Qui a parlé de une initiation que vous-même vous gagnez.
And so much more. So come on down and join us. We'll be happy to have you. Thank you.
Merci.
There you have it, guys. That was Tanika's meeting. The coordinator from who is working here, come here to help the Haitian community from PADF. We're gonna have Karen Sands right here. Oh, BAF, I love BAF. So BAF is in the place, and Karen Sands is coming to give us all the details. I hope the prices, I don't know what special you guys have at BAF, but I am listening. I'm listening. So she's coming right now. Come on, let's go.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? Good. So my name is Karen Sands, and I am from British American Financial, better known as BAF.
Donc, moi, c'est Brenda Charles. Moi, travaille avec compagnie assurance BAF, Bahamas Financial.
As you all are aware, BAF is a financial company that's been in the Bahamas and it's been known for more than 100 years.
Et pour nous-mêmes qui ne connaissons BAF, c'est une compagnie qui travaille dans Bahamas, qui là pour 100 ans, plus que 100 ans.
So my job here today is to present to this great establishment the BAF Burial Society Plan.
Et pour moi là pour me présenter ou de burial plan pour enterrement.
The burial plan was created to assist organization in providing relief to its members during unfortunate times of bereavement.
Et plan ça nous te fait pour nous assister famille dans temps de difficultés là au perdu en famille.
The burial plan consists of churches, large organizations,
Plan ça là pour l'église et quelques sociétés,
fraternities, union associations, and club memberships.
unions, quelques clubs et quelques organisations.
So I find this plan to be very fitting for your church because all of its members can now be a part of it.
Et choisi plan ça parce que moi tout le monde a en partie de plan ça.
The criteria for the plan consists of
Pour capable de plan ça, simplement au besoin,
you must be between the age of 15 and 75.
ou doit l'âge 15 ans et 75 ans.
It is open to the spouse and children of the members of the church.
Là pour madame ou mari ou soit petite membre organisation.
It requires limited underwriting requirements.
Li pa gen an pil ou pa besoin an pil bagay pour on partie de plan.
So when we talk about underwriting requirements, we talk like whether you have to take a medical test or you have to bring in notes from a doctor. Those are like some of the requirements that you
Oh,
have to do.
là nous parler de underwriter, nous parler de ou pas besoin médical, ou pas besoin lettre nommé docteur pour faire partie plan.
The waiting period for this particular plan is 6 months. So what does that mean? If you wanted to join the plan this month, then God forbid, you have to wait 6 months in order for you to reap the full amount of the coverage in which you have taken out.
OK. Pour plan ça fait effet, les points 6 mois. Ça veut dire sous entrer dans plan, ou avez jouer bénéfice là après 6 mois.
However, if there's an accidental death, it means that you go out there, God forbid, and you get caught up in a car accident or something of that sort, then the benefit will be paid in full.
Mais si on bagay rive parce que c'est un accident qui est arrivé, nous payons 100%.
Non-accidental deaths, within 6 months, you would get a refund of all of your premiums, the beneficiary.
OK. So si yon bagay rive après 6 mois, n'a payé tout ça ou te payé, ça aurait les premiums non.
The coverage for the group are as follows. You can get coverage anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000.
Pour groupe, ou ka toucher 5,000 à 20,000 dollars.
And it's all done in increments of 5,000.
Et vous payez dans portion 5,000 dollars.
So that will be, you can get insured for 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, or $20,000 coverage.
Qui veut dire ou ka entre pour 5,000 dollars, 10,000 dollars, 15,000 dollars ou 20,000 dollars.
However, members over the age of 70 can only be insured for a maximum of $10,000.
Mais moun qui a plus que 70 ans ka simplement entrer pour seuls 10,000 dollars.
Also, I would like to know that if a member joins now, once they become 70, let's say they get insured.
Entrer dans bénéfice ça depuis moun nan vin rive l'âge 70 ans bénéfice là c'était 20,000 la descend à 10,000.
For every other age between members between the age of 15 to 69, their full coverage would remain in place.
Et tout le monde qui a 15 à 69 ans couverture était même la bénéfice là était salté.
If there are more than 200 members of the organization or the church, then there's a discount given.
Si il y a plus que 200 moun dans organisation ou soit société, yo joue un discount.
Our rates are guaranteed for 6 months.
Et ça nous offre la garantie pour 6 mois.
The plan is a graded plan for members, like I said, joining after the age of 70. So the graded benefit is as follows. The age of the policy, if less than or equal to 1 year, refunds of the premium is paid. So if they were to die less than 1 year, they're going to get the refunds of all of the premium.
Ok, si ou rentre apre yon ane ou mouri, ya premen tou premium, ki vle di sorte peye ya.
If they were insured less than or equal to 2 years, then they are going to get a 10% cover in the amount of the premium.
Ok, si on bagay vivo anvan 2 an, ya bo 10% de sorte peye.
Less than or equal to 3 years, they would get 20% of the covered amount that would be paid to the beneficiary.
Ok, si ou mouri entre 3 an, ya bo 15% de sa ou te peye.
Less than 4 years, then it would be 40% of the covered amount would be paid to the beneficiary.
Ok, mwen se 4 an, yo bo 40%.
Less than or equal to 5 years, 60% of the covered amount is paid to the beneficiary.
5 an ou mwen, yo bo ya premen tou 60%.
And over 5 years, which would be for the age 75, 100% would be covered. So this graded information that I just gave only applies to that particular client that is age 70 because they consider it to be a real senior.
Ok, sam so di la li aplike a tout moun ki gen 70 an ou plis.
The burial is one that I find that is fitting for the church, whereas, like I reiterated earlier, that if you're between the age of 15 to 70, it's a good thing to get into. There's very limited amount of requirements.
E plan sa li bon pou l'Eglise yo paske li pa gen an pil requirement pou entre nan plan sa.
If you wish to enroll for $5,000 coverage, that would be $5 per month.
Sou rentre pou $5,000, wap peye $5 pa mwa.
$10,000 coverage would be $10 per month.
$10 pou $10,000, wap peye $10 pa mwa.
$15,000 coverage would be $15 per month.
$15,000, wap peye $15 pa mwa.
And the maximum amount that you can be covered for is $20,000. You would pay a minimum of $20 per month.
E maksimum nan ki se $20,000, wap peye $20. Ki se $20,000 benefis, wap peye $20 pa mwa.
So I will be seated at the desk, and anyone have concerns, you can come and reach out to me. I can go into more detail in terms of what documents you have and what we accept, in terms of your nationality and your status here in the Bahamas. I can go more into detail with that. I have flyers and I have information as well as the simple application for you guys to look at, and we can move from there.
E map la pou tout sesyon an, sou gen kek informasyon, map ka bo plis informasyon an detay, ou ka vin jwen mwen pou mande plis informasyon, pou mka repon plis keksyon ke ou ka gen.
So does anyone have any questions? I know it was a lot.
M konen pataje an pil sou gen kek keksyon ou ta reme mande, plis informasyon, ou sou wap gade live la ou ka tape nan lien ou swa ou ka mande m koulye ya. I have a question. We were trying to deal with this for some time. If I wanted to register about 25% in the church, under the church's name, do I need individual IDs for each person? Or does each person need to have individual application since the church is doing it? Legal documents.
Yeah, you would need legal documents for every individual.
Wap bezwen papye legal pou chak moun.
Either the valid Haitian passport,
Passeport on valide, passeport haïtien,
passport,
or passeport BME.
residency status,
Y a besoin statut légal yo.
spousal permit.
Si c'est un mari yo qui ba yo papier, y a besoin ça.
Right, you must show some legal document that you have a right to reside.
Faut montrer quelques documents qui démontrent que ou gen permission pour dans pays a.
We also accept a valid travel document that some of the younger persons have.
Et nous accepter papier que yo bay jeune ti moun yo qui vivent dans pays a, belongers permit.
Exactly, belongers permit, right. So once you have those,
What if we don't have 25 of those persons?
the maximum has to be 25. Sorry, yeah, the minimum has to be 25. I noticed the name of the church is the Church of the Nazarene, right? So if you have, let's say, the other Church of the Nazarene or some other church that comes under this umbrella, you can still join them up with this church. But everyone would be underneath this umbrella, and all payments would be expected to come from the church after you would have collected from the other affiliates.
Thank you. We have another question. My question is, I think I understood it to be that you said once they would have paid 6 months to a year, you will get the premium that you paid. To me, it doesn't seem to make sense. Because if I have a contract with you, if something happens to me, I feel as if I should be paid. Can you?
Going back to that, what I'm saying is that with every insurance,
À chaque assurance,
whether it's BAF or any other
quel que
insurance,
soit qui compagnie,
there is a contestable period, which is a waiting period that you can naturally die from any sickness.
gen yon période koto kan mouri naturellement. Période ça c'est une période de test koto yo test.
So for this particular plan, the waiting period is 6 months.
Pour plan ça, temps que wap tan nan c'est 6 mois.
So if anything were to happen to you before the 6 months,
Si yon bagay t'arrive ou avant 6 mois,
your beneficiary would receive the premiums, the monthly payments, which you would have made.
moun nan ki bénéficiaire a recevoir ça ou te paye pour 6 mois, the 6 months payment.
Right. If you were to die after the 6 months,
Si ou sou mouri après 6 mois,
then your beneficiary would receive the amount in which you signed up for.
moun nan ka bénéficiaire a recevoir ça ou te signé pour li a. Après 6 mois.
However, if you were to sign up and you, God forbid, you go out there in another 2 weeks, you're crossing the street and a car knocks you down and you die,
Mais si ou ta signé avant 6 mois, si c'est un accident privé, like on machine frappe ou mourir, go
so
ahead.
if you die from an accident,
Si c'est un accident,
then your beneficiary would go ahead and get the full amount.
moun nan ka bénéficiaire a recevoir tout bénéfice là. The full,
Whatever amount they signed up for, if they signed up for $10,000 and God forbid in 2 months' time they're walking across the street, the full amount, right. Even if it's before the 6 months, yes. Right. There's a waiting time with every insurance
after
company.
6 months.
Any other insurance company dealing with another type of insurance, it's 2-year waiting time. It's a contestable period.
Do you get damage from accident?
No, it's just to cover the mouth. It's not right.
So if someone is interested,
Si yon moun intéressé,
what do they need to do?
ki sa yo bezwen fè?
Just give you a call on the card,
Eske yo bezwen relo sou numéro ki nan kad la?
or is there other instructions?
They can give me a call on the card, and I can also leave the flyers and the application here at the church, because they would have to come in underneath the church umbrella.
Okay.
We have another question. Do you offer health insurance?
Yes, we do. I can give you one of my business card, and we could discuss that.
La bo yon nan kat yo, e la fè an appointment pou y bo plis informasyon sou sa. Yeah, she wants to know, can someone pay the burial and the health? Can they apply for burial and health insurance?
Sure, they can. And we also sell other life insurance. If
It-
you do not wish to be underneath the burial, you can get your personal life insurance as well.
E si ou pa vle an ba an sosyete, ou ka nou gen lot asirans ke nou ofri, ki vle di ki plis ke $20,000.
Any other questions?
Eske nou gen lot keksyon? Kesyon?
All right, so I'll wait at the desk to give out flyers and cards and to give out any other additional information that might be required.
Okay, let's give it up for BAF. Listen, the senior pastor, which is my dad, who said I forsake him, Pastor Antoine Selwi. I have not forsaken him. He'll forever be my father. He asked if you were to have 25 or 27 persons to sign up. Listen, we ought to have about 30 to 40 people to sign up from in this church, because the only thing is promised is heaven. Today is not promised. So if you can pay $5 a month, or let's say, okay, simple as $10 a month, and you get $10,000 to bury somebody, that's good. Because it's a lot. I've seen a lot of families struggling. They grieving the death of losing a family member. Also, grieving another because they don't have no money to bury that person. So if you can save, you know what is $20 a month? $20 and get $20,000 for your burial. You ought to get about 40 to 50% out of this church to sign up with BAF. I love BAF. That's the insurance that I'm in. And I've been with them for almost 10 years now. I love BAF. So I would m'tap souhaité que tout le monde t'a signé pour assurance ça, parce que li mal on seul bagay qui assuré c'est celle là. Nous pas konn ça ka privé nous. On moun ka sorti là kon y a même bon ou tomber. So son moun ka paye assurance $5 qui pipiti par mois pour signer non compagnie assurance pour joindre l'argent ça pour yon enterro li bon, parce que ou ka imagine sou mouri kon ya m'gen problème d'est-ce mourir parce que cœur m'a coupé, m'a crié toute journée, m'gon l'autre crier encore parce que m'a gen l'argent pour m'enterrer. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Ça veut dire m'gen des problèmes. Pasteur Antoine, ça lui t'a doué joindre même 50 moun dans l'église Victory Chapel seulement qui pour signer à BAF. Parce que li vraiment assurance là vraiment important. Et haïtien pas mettre ça dans tête à yo. Assurance is very, very important. Now I'm not going to talk about health because with the low income that they make, it's going to be hard
to get health insurance, because health insurance is a little bit costly. But burial insurance, life insurance, everybody ought to have a a life insurance or burial insurance. And I love how BAF came and they was like $5. Are you ready to go on another insurance? $5 a month? Yeah, I'm in. I'm ready to take another one with them. As you guys know, I didn't even establish protocol yet, but I want to say a special good afternoon to all our distinguished guests. The person that made this possible, Tanika Sweeting, the project coordinator for BADF. Listen, I'm delighted to be here, to be a part of this great initiative, because I always say where my people is where my heart is. And where I can make a difference is where I'm at. Côté haïtien mieux c'est là, côté moun mieux c'est là moi. Côté moi ka fait une différence, c'est là moi. And we know that the Pan American Development Foundation believes in creating a hemisphere of opportunities for all. Their work across the Latin American and Caribbean continues to make a region stronger and continue to make a difference for the future together. So I am delighted to be here. We have next Michael Taylorin, our community youth leader, bridging the gap. Listen, come on, Michael. Let's do this today. Clap your hands and let's just welcome Brother Michael. How's he come? Listen, I'm just so excited to be here today. Hello.
Thank you, thank you. We have my brother, he is on the live, sharing the live. That's Louis Georges. He is sharing the live as we speak, but
Louis Georges, c'est lui-même qui a partagé page là dans moment ça.
he should be here any minute.
La
I
plaque,
think
quelle importe minute.
if you don't see him here, something must be going on because he normally don't miss these kind of.
Nous connaissons les pas rater occasion ça.
So this initiative is very good for our community.
Initiation ça, li bon pour communauté nous.
Et moi, je vais parler plus créole, je vais quitter ça de parler anglais.
I want to speak more Creole and leave the English to our translator.
Et je vais deux parties que je vais faire pendant que reste mon yo vini.
I have two parts while we wait for the rest to arrive.
So pour nous finir, pour nous entrer dans yo vite que possible.
So we could get right into things.
Pendant qu'on vit dans la communauté,
While you are living in the community,
il y a un pile bagay ou besoin connaître des communautés.
there are a lot of things that you need to know about the community.
Et c'est peut-être ça où il a fait bagay comme ça.
And that is why you see they're hosting initiatives such as this.
Où ils viennent avec assurance.
You see that they come, they're here with the
Ils
insurance,
parler de immigration.
they're speaking about immigration,
Ils parler de l'école,
they're speaking about education,
de travail.
working.
Parce que pendant notre communauté,
Because while you're in the community,
premier bagay pour faire faut qu'on engage dans la communauté.
one of the things that you need to do is engage in the community.
Et qui j'en peux le faire engager dans la communauté?
How can you engage in the community?
Pendant entrer là-dedans, faut connaître, faut comprendre.
You have to get in, you have to understand, and you have to know it.
Pour capable respecter la communauté locale.
To respect the local community.
Parce que il y a un pile coutume dans la communauté,
Because there are a lot of customs in the community.
ou pas comprendre.
You may not understand them
Parce que ou même ou sorti dans l'autre communauté
because you're from a different culture and a different community
qui gagne coutume pa yo.
that has their own cultural customs.
Avec ça, faut comprendre coutume communauté.
With this, you have to understand the culture of the Bahamian community
Pour capable engager dans la communauté.
so you can be engaged in it.
Deuxième bagay dans la communauté a besoin faire.
The second thing that you need to do in the
Pendant
community,
on fait tout moyen possible pour connaître coutume là.
while you're doing all necessary possibility to understand the community,
You know bagay on connaît langue là pas pour.
you know that the English is not yours.
Mais fait tout moyen possible pour comprendre.
But do all that you can to understand the language that is spoken here.
Pour mot boy ici,
Try to get a word here and there.
pour mot l'autre côté.
Take a word here and there.
Il ka pas sorti Jean ta mais pour sortir.
It may not come out the way that you want it to come out.
Yon nan bagay wap wè nan communauté a,
One of the things that you would notice in the community,
de pou fè effort,
once you make an effort,
y ap respekte ou paske ou fè effort.
they would respect that you have made the effort.
So fè effort.
So make that effort.
Pa di anglais a pa pou mwen pa ka pale,
Don't say this language is in minds.
nou kompon sa.
We have to understand that.
Men sou ka di yes ma'am,
But if you can say, yes, ma'am,
thank you,
I
love you,
I love you,
my name is,
my name is.
ou kapab di bagay sa yo la pe do.
If you can say these things that will help you,
Ou ka wè li ouvri porte pou, pa la même pense que da pou ouvri.
you will notice that it will open doors that you didn't even think would have opened.
So communication li très important.
So communication is really important,
Parce que troisième bagay pou al fè pou,
because the third thing that it will do for you,
kon ya pou al bâti yo relasyon.
it will build a relationship.
Parce que wap wè ken kek anglais nan zone kote ou ete ya,
Because you're going to find that some of the persons in your community,
parce qu'on moutre respect, a,
because you would have shown this respect,
parce qu'on moutre respect,
because you show this respect,
ou moutre respect, ou respecte communauté, a,
you show that you respect that community,
parce qu'on fait ça,
because you would have done this,
et parce qu'on fait tout moyen possible pour avancer pendant qu'on parle langue là,
and you're showing that you're trying to advance yourself by speaking the language,
qu'on y a ouvert bâti yo relation.
you would have built a relationship.
Et relation ça, wap wè yap kampe pou.
And you would see that this relationship, they would stand for you.
Yo ka pa kampe nan tout bagay,
They may not stand in everything,
mais yap di, that's my friend.
but they would stand for you.
So toujours fè tout moyen possible pour capable bâti relation.
So do all that you can to build a relationship.
Et pendant la communauté, a quatrième bagay pour comprendre,
The fourth thing that you would need to understand while in the community,
sensibilité culturelle la.
the cultural sensibility.
Gen kek bagay yo sensible de li même.
There are certain things the community is very sensible about.
Et parce que yo sensible de bagay sa yo,
And because they're sensible about they're sensitive about certain issues,
nou gen un mot en créole, un mot proverbe en créole,
we have a Creole proverb that says,
marcher sous 13 pa pile 14.
walk on 13 so you don't step on 14.
Gen kek bagay ou pa entre nan yo.
Get certain things you just don't get in.
Même nan bâti relation,
Even in building the relationship,
konen gen kek bagay li sensibilité, gen sensibilité là dedans.
there are certain things that are sensitive to a certain or particular culture.
So le wap parler, le wap engagé ou,
So as you engage and as you communicate,
engagé avec un esprit de sensibilité.
engage with the spirit of sensitivity.
Et cinquième bagay pour faire,
And the fifth thing that you need to do,
connaître communauté, explore
know and explore the
communauté
community
dans chaque domaine.
in every domain.
Gade ki bagay kap travail, ki bagay ki bon,
Look at what is good, what is working,
ki sa ki ka ede ou,
what can help you
même nan lokal koto ye a,
locally where you're at,
koto kapab ede yon moun,
where you can help somebody.
tout sa ap ede ou.
All these things will help you.
Et sixième bagay pour reconnaître,
The sixth thing that you need to understand,
rete informé.
stay informed.
Pendant la communauté a,
While you're in the community,
l'on wè a fait bagay kon sa na fait jodi a,
like while they're doing things such as the initiative today,
ça c'est information ya ba ou.
this is information that they're giving you.
Information pour aider ou,
Information to help you,
pour aider famille ou,
to help your family.
toujours koute information sa yo.
Take advantage of these opportunities.
Gen information sur radio,
There are information on the radio.
information sur télévision,
There's information on television,
même information dans newspaper.
in the newspapers.
Ou ka pa ka lire peut-être pas ou.
You may not be able to read it for yourself.
Mande yon petit do yo pour lire pour ou.
Ask your children to read it
Ou
for you.
mande yon moun pour dire ki sa ka passe.
Ask someone to tell you what is going on.
Parce que ou vle connaît sa ka passe.
Because you would want to know what is going on.
Plus ou connaît sa ka passe,
The more you know what is going on,
plus avantage ou vin gen.
the better the advantages for you.
Et septième bagay pour faire,
The seventh thing that you need to do,
ou besoin réseau.
you need your resources.
Ou gen pour connecter avec l'autre monde.
You need to connect with other persons.
L'église, fédération, côté lié faut connecter avec monde.
your affiliations, your churches.
Parce que gen quelques bagages ou besoin faire,
There are some things that you need to do.
gen une porte ou besoin ouvrir.
There are some doors that need to open.
Si ou pas connecté avec un monde,
If you're not connected to somebody,
ou pas connaître.
you would not know.
Si ou pas connecté avec Lady T,
If you're not connected to Lady T
Louis Georges,
or Luby Georges
ou yon l'église,
or a church
ou pas connaître les informations ça y a bay.
or the information that they're given,
Ou Victoire Chapelle, you have.
Victory Chapel or you have,
Si ou pas connecté avec nous,
if you're not connected with us,
ou pas connaître.
you will not know.
C'est peut-être ça qui est très important
That is why it's very important
pour faire ça.
to do this.
Neuvièmement, m'a dit
Ninth,
respect pour tout l'autre différents groupes ou dans la
respect
communauté.
the different groups in the community.
Parce que ça est très important.
That is very important.
Même là, dans petit moment, dans petit bout de Paul là,
You may be in your own movement, your own group.
respecter l'autre.
Respect the other groups.
Et pour me finir avec partie ça,
To finish with this section,
chercher assistance locale.
look for assistance locally.
Il y a des gens qui sont capables d'aider.
There are persons that can help.
You have là pour aider.
UHAB is here to help.
L'église est là pour aider.
The churches are here to help.
Il y a des gens qui sont là dans la communauté qui sont capables d'aider.
There are persons here that can help.
Très souvent dans la communauté,
Very often in the community,
en pile moun yo kite moun exploité yo,
they allow persons to exploit them.
lè ou capable joindre moun qui réellement gen un cœur pour aider ou.
When there are easily persons that have a heart to help them.
Mais sou pas chercher connaît qui moun,
But if you don't look for the persons,
then wap gen un problème.
then there will be a problem.
C'est là moi te avec 8 points, 9 points ça pour même.
I'm going to rest right here with these 9 points.
Et quand y a nous vle comprendre yon bagay k'ap réellement avager dans notre communauté a.
I want you to understand something that's going on in the community right now.
Et li affecte tout le monde.
It affects everyone.
C'est pas seul anglais,
It's not just the Bahamians,
mais haïtien.
but Haitians as well.
Moi même avec ou.
Me and you.
Crime.
Crime.
Crime li très important dans la communauté a.
The crime element is very important in the
Chaque
community.
jour tande gen bagay k'ap fait.
Every day something is going on
Parce que crime là très important,
because the crime is important.
li mande ou pour plus vigilant qu'on y a.
It calls for us to be more vigilant.
Ou baka di oh anglais yo gen ti problème a yo business a yo.
You cannot say it's a Bahamian issue.
Ou baka di oh ça pas problème pam.
You cannot say it's not my problem.
Problème crime là c'est pour tout le monde.
The crime issue is for everyone.
C'est peut-être ça ou même quand on est dans zone là,
That is why where you're staying in the area,
comprendre zone ou.
know the area that you live in.
Faire tout moyen pour connaître zone ou.
Make a great effort to know your area.
Connaître voisinage ou yo.
Know your neighbors
Pour capable connaître les un problème rivé.
so that you'll know when a problem does happen.
Même les ou pas rentrer là-dedans,
Even though you're not going to get in their problem,
mais ou connaît qui ça qui passe dans zone là.
but you know what is going on in the area.
Ou connaît qui gens pour capable ranger corps.
You would know what to do if and when something happens.
Et comprendre loi yo. Fait tout moyen possible pour connaître loi.
And make a great effort to know the laws of the country.
Loi police,
The police,
loi immigration,
immigration,
loi gouvernement.
the government laws.
Parce que gen quelques bagay ou capable voir qui fait.
Because you would notice that certain things that happen,
Si ou pas connaît loi,
if you don't know the law,
ou tomber là-dedans.
you will fall, you will be a victim of crime.
Et pas entrer dans yo trop dit,
And we can't get too much into it.
mais si ou pas connaît loi,
If you don't know the law
les gens viennent frapper porte caillou à minuit
and someone knocks on your door at 12
et ou connaît ou get toute pièce ou ensemble,
and you know that you have all of your legal documents,
qu'on y a ou connaît qui ça pour faire.
you would know what to do.
Parce que ou ka mande yo question,
You can ask a question.
ou ka mande yo pour yo présenter ou quelques bagay.
You can ask for certain proof.
Et gen quelques bagay ou capable faire tout sur gen téléphone,
If you have a phone,
ou capable relé
you can call.
parce que gen numéro ou capable relé pour dire OK, gen un monde qui boit côté là qui dit c'est policier,
You can call and say, I have someone knocking on my door.
ou gen un monde qui dit c'est immigration lié, même pas quoi ça vraiment.
I don't believe that they're who they say they are.
Tout bagay sa yo, sou pa konnen loi,
If you don't know the law,
wap tombe,
you will fall victim to crime
e wap ge problem.
and you will have problems.
Et pendant wap nan communauté ya,
And while you're in the community,
konnen ki jan pou conduire tête ou,
know how to conduct and comport yourself
avec respect.
with respect.
Ça, c'est un bagay nou pa même besoin di Haïtien même.
We need not say this to our Haitian community,
Mais on capable parler avec jeune ou yo,
but
petit
you
ou yo.
can speak to your children.
Gen pile nan yo, pa vwa tête la yo, yo oublié ki moun yo ye.
A lot of them forget who they are.
So, faut nous toujours faire yo comprendre ça.
You need to let them understand this.
Apprendre bon conduite koto ye a,
Engage in good conduct
pour capable réussir.
so that you can be successful.
Et yon nan bagay, yon lot bagay pour comprendre,
Another thing that you need to understand,
gen système emergency
there are systems of emergency
ou capable utiliser
to utilize,
et faut connaître yo.
and you must know them.
Pour les on bagay rive,
So when something happens,
sou pas sur social media,
if you're not on social
sou
media,
pas informé,
if you're not informed,
ou pas connaître ça ka passe.
you will not know what is going
Si gen
on.
un cyclone kon ya,
If there's a hurricane
yo di ou pour sorti koto ye a,
and they ask you to evacuate,
pour aller on l'autre côté,
to go somewhere else,
faut qu'on ka comprendre ça.
you need to understand
Parce
this
que c'est où yo vle protéger ou.
because they want to protect you.
Et ou pas besoin peur.
You need not be afraid.
Parce que parfois l'autre gen cyclone,
Because a lot of times when we hear about storms
les
and
gen un
emergency,
gros emergency comme ça,
a large emergency,
et ba lè ça moun a pensé ki moun ki gen document, ki moun ki pa gen document.
this is not the time to think about documents.
Ça c'est lè pour tout moun chercher un côté qui pi à l'aise pour yo capable couvrir tête yo.
That is the time to really seek protection.
C'est peut-être ça faut connaître qui gens pour utiliser système emergency.
So that is why it's important to know how to utilize the emergency systems that are in place.
Et ou même qui gen document,
You who have documentation,
il est très important
it is very important
pour connaître qui gens pour capable sécurité personnelle document ça yo.
you have to know how to secure your personal belongings.
Faut connaître qui gens pour mettre yo pour si gen un cyclone.
You have to know what to do in cases of
Ou ka
emergency,
connaître qui gens pour aller yo vite.
to know where they're at,
So mettez yo dans petit plastique ou mettez yo dans ziploc bag, genre mettez là
wherever they are, whether it's a Ziploc bag.
pour si gen la pluie, si gen de l'eau pour y pas gâter, mess up.
You have to ensure that they're secured.
Faut faire tout moyen possible pour ça marcher bien.
You have to do everything to ensure that this goes well.
Et ou même qui gen banque, qui la banque,
You who have banking information,
ou te ka commencer là, ou te ka commencer l'autre gen tout document légal ou.
if you were to start when you got all of your legal documents,
Yon nan bagay nou ta di tout moun lò ap ouvri yon carnet banque.
one of the things that we want to say to everyone who's opening a bank account,
Toujou chache pou konen ou gen yon moun ou kapab ap fiye,
always find someone that you trust,
ou moun ou kapab depan sou li mem
someone you can depend on
pou ede ou.
to help you.
Pou si deme ou vin pa kapab ay la bank la ankon,
Or in the case if you cannot go to the bank,
ou gen yon moun ki kapab edo avek sa.
you have someone that can assist you with this.
Paske tre souvan,
Because very often
ou kapab gen moun ki ouvri carnet banque li,
there are persons that open their account,
li te gen document
they had their documents when the account was open,
pou in ane,
1 year,
2 ans,
2 years,
et apre sa yi pa ka renouvle ankon,
and once the documents would have expired,
kon ya ou vin gen yon problem.
there's a problem.
Ou pa kon ki sa pou fe.
You don't know what to do.
So gen informasyon, ou gen yon bon moun ki avou,
If you have a trustworthy person
ki te siye avou,
that signed with you,
sa ka ede ou.
that will help you.
E plis sou sa ankon,
Another thing with this,
ti kat yo ba ou a,
the ATM card,
fò kembe bo kote ou.
you have to secure that
Avek ti lime ou, 4 lime ou, 5 lime ou yo ba ou a,
with the PIN number that they give you.
kembe bo kote ou.
You have to secure that.
Pa bay tout moun li no,
You cannot give everyone your PIN
men
number,
fò chanje l.
and you must remember your PIN number.
Ou le ou gen yon problem,
When you have a problem,
ou kon ki jan pou agi.
you know what to do.
So m'dou tout bagay sa yo
I say all these things to say,
parce qu'on dans société a,
because you're in society,
ou vivre dans société a.
you're living in the community,
So tout bagay sa yo côté assurance,
your insurance,
sécurité,
your security,
local ou,
your local environment,
tout sa yo aide ou
all of these things help you
pour capable yon bon citoyen
to make you a better citizen
ou yon moun k'ap vive dans communauté a,
or a person that's living healthy in the community,
k'ap aide communauté a
that's
avancer.
helping the community to move forward.
Pas oublier,
Don't forget,
ou pas seulement gen l'église yo, celle pour aller l'église le dimanche,
the churches are not here only to go to church on Sundays,
mais pour connecter avec yon société,
but they're here for you to connect
k'ap
with,
bon information,
to inform you,
k'ap aide ou.
that will help you.
Et ou gen groupe tant you have,
And you have groups like you have,
et groupe ça qui vini là encore
And the-
à matin, hein,
the PADF,
qui vient pour aider nous,
that's here to help you
chercher connaître ça qu'a fait.
seek to find out what is going on.
Écoutez radio, écoutez nouvelles yo.
Listen to the radio, listen to the news,
Et avec tout ça la aider ou
and all these things will help you.
pour capable avancer.
That will help you advance.
That's it.
Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to Brother Michael. Listen, everything that I wanted to say about crime, Brother Michael, you probably was reading my mind. So diasive with Brother Michael because, excuse me, sometimes I go English Creole. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't keep up. I guess I'm blessed. You are talking about crime, which is very, very, very important. Persons don't know. They are saying crime start within the home.
En pile moun yo di criminal li komanse nan kay la, nan famille la.
You come and say na Kaila because uka imagine, can you imagine? Can you imagine that you have your child that came home with a brand new iPhone 15,
Ou gen petit ou ki vin la kay avec yon iPhone 15.
not working?
I pa travay.
Where did he get the phone from?
Fò ka mande kote te jwen téléphone nan.
You have to watch your children whilst they're in your house.
Fò gade petit ou jen moun yo pandan yo nan kay ou.
Sometimes you gotta go through their phones when they don't even know you going, when they not expected you to do so.
En pile fò fò entre nan téléphone nan le yo pa konen.
You gotta know what friends that your children are keeping.
Fò konen ki zanmi ke ti moun ou genyen.
The murder that took place with the elderly lady, I think a few days ago, said she got shot, I think Lily Valley or wherever it was. I'm not certain the area.
Dam nan yo tire l'autre hier dernier.
But I don't think it was her they wanted. Maybe it was somebody else.
Se pat li yo te vle tire.
But by just being in the car, they mistaken her for somebody else that normally drives the car.
Men plis ke li te nan machine nan,
They mistaken her for somebody else that normally drives the car.
yo point pou an lot moun ki kondi machine nan.
So that means be careful of who you ride with.
Fò ka careful avec ki moun wap pran ray avec yo.
It is very, very important. Crime is taking over this country.
Criminal li pran peyi ya, e sa important pou nou konen informasyon sa
And
yo.
it starts with our young children.
E li komanse avec ti moun piti nou yo.
I'm not touching immigration because that is Luby's job, Luby's George's job, and he's on his way as we speak. But can I tell you something?
Eske m ka di nou sa?
When you, as a child, you apply at the age of 18,
Pendant le ou son ti moun ou aplike lò 18 an,
but sometimes you, after 18, you wait 19, 20, 21, 22.
an pil nan nou tan 18, 19, 20, 21, 22,
You take the same documents to immigration
ou pran mem dokiman sa yo way nan imigrasyon.
over and over and over again.
Apre.
You spend money that you already spent already on the same documents.
Ou depanse an pil l'ajan sou mem dokiman yo.
Department of Immigration cannot find your documents.
Gen de le departman pa ka jwen dokiman yo.
And then you have a home where sometimes the majority of homes now are, I would say, mothers are raising children.
Et en pile nan kayo nou
The fathers are not there.
maman yo kap fè levasyon ti moun yo.
And for a single mother to be giving you money over again to put in the same document that you already put in to immigration, when you don't even know when you're getting this citizenship.
Et en pile fois c'est maman qui pa travail kap bay jen moun yo l'argent après encore et encore et encore.
I would hope this problem be resolved.
Et me souhaite que problème yo résoudre problème ça.
Because whether we like it or not, it is contributing to crime.
Et
Being in a country stateless is contributing to crime with our young men in the Haitian community.
même si nous pas vle accepter ça, nous gen un pile jeune monde qui pas gen document et pour moi même moi penser que ça contribue à crime que nous gagnons dans société jodi a.
Because for you to cannot, first of all, open a bank account.
Premièrement, ou pas qu'à l'ouvrir un carnet.
You cannot, simple as work. You can't even go to work without, you can't even get a job without having a identification, a proper identification.
Ou pas qu'à travailler sous pas gen document ça yo.
So let's say you waiting, nothing has happened.
Wap
For persons who don't grow up in churches like us, who don't have, the love of God.
Imaginez un jeune monde qui pas à l'église, qui pas gen monde qui encourager yo.
And that's very important for us again as young people to return back to the churches and return back to God.
Et ça important pour nous même jeunes monde qui pas à l'église encore, qui te connaît l'église. Il est important pour nous retourner venir joindre bon Dieu, retourner marcher l'église.
We have to stay connected as one in one community.
Faut nous rester connectés dans communauté.
And as Brother Michael was saying,
Et même Jean Pastor Mike te dit
a lot of people now are on TikTok all day.
et en pile monde konya yo simplement rester sur TikTok.
I have my show that aired on Guardian every Sundays at 6 p.m. where we inform, educate the Haitian community.
Moi gen émission sur Guardian chaque dimanche.
Qui informe et éduque.
Qui informe et éduque communauté.
Antoine Wilzor have his show that is Global 99.5 that comes on every Saturday.
Nous gen Antoine Wilzor qui gen émission li sur radio chaque samedi.
We have Robert Zedone and Andy that have You Need to Know on Guardian Radio right after mine.
Et nous gen Robert Zedone qui gen show li sur Guardian aussi.
And of course, we have Luby Georges, that have numerous radio stations.
Et nous gen Luby Georges qui sur presque tout réseaux sociaux.
By giving you information that you need to know.
Ka bon information que ou besoin connaître.
So we have to stay connected to the information.
Faut nous rester
given to
connectés
us.
pour nous ka joindre information que y a ban nous.
We can't just stay on TikTok all day.
Nous pas arrêter sur TikTok toute journée.
We live in this country and it is important to know the laws and know what's going on in the country.
Nous rester dans pays a, li important pour nous connaître ça qui passe dans pays a, so faut nous rester connectés.
And I did say immigration is not my thing, but we have Luby Georges, can I say, that's doing a tremendous job with helping persons in the Haitian community. To me,
nous gen Luby Georges qui fait un pile dans communauté a pour aider moun yo.
sometimes I see him put messages on Facebook. Please do not message me. It's after 6 p.m.
Gen de lem wel li mette sur Facebook, li di moun pa voy message li après 6 p.m.
6 p.m. is a joke. I would say after 10 p.m.
Gen moun ki écrit après 10 heures du soir.
But everybody should know where his office is now, because once you are in the Haitian community, a Haitian that needs, all of us need something from immigration. All of us need some kind of document to be translated and so on and so forth. So everybody should be connected and should know where to go, where his office is. And besides, can I say he opened from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays through Fridays only, no later than that.
Et nous gen li gen office li bureau li ki assiste moun. Li l'ouvre 9h pour 5h lundi à vendredi.
When you have young persons such as myself, Luby Georges, and others that are trying and doing for the Haitian community. That is something you ought to give God thanks for.
Et lò gen moun kom moi-même et Louis Georges, ou ta dwe di bon Dieu merci k'ap bat pour assister jeune dans communauté a.
A day and night he worked endlessly. And it's not about him, but sometimes, you can't wait till the person there to talk about them. You got to say the work that they're doing whilst they're here.
Et nous devons parler de moun nan pendant li la et travail qu'il a fait a.
And we want to say how much we appreciate him.
Et nous voulons dire ki jan nou apprécier li.
I know that PADF said they want to help the Haitian community, but so now I'm going to say what I feel like we need in the Haitian community.
Et m'konnen PADF li di li vle aider pep haïtien dans communauté a. Moi-même moi vle di ou sa nou besoin dans communauté a.
We have children that come from school, don't have a laptop because you have single mothers in the home that cannot afford to buy a laptop or tablet, so on and so forth, and those children have to do their homeworks.
We have nou gen an pil ti moun nan communauté a ki pa gen yo pa gen ressources pour yo faire devoir yo la yo sort l'école à cause nou gen an pil maman qui sans aide, qui pa gen aide ak ti moun yo.
Can you imagine being a single mother? You have to pay for a work permit of $2,000, insurance, which is another $1,500.
Imagine ou se yon maman nan pays a ou gen pou payer papier $2,000 ou gen pou payer assurance $1,500
and still put food on your table.
et pour toujours faire l'évasion ti moun et pour faire provision pour yo.
Now tell me, how can you afford any laptop for a child to do a homework?
Est-ce que ou ka acheter laptop pour un moun faire homework?
Even a father.
Et même mon papa.
The Haitians only making minimum wage.
En pile haïtien c'est minimum yo fait.
So I would like to ask
M'ta remè,
if you guys can contribute some laptops.
est-ce que nous ka faire quelques
we can
contribution pour nous acheter laptop pour quelques maman nan?
we can work and have a facility where we have children after school come, and I am sure we have a lot of young teachers in the Haitian community that would be delighted to help in assisting children with their homework after school.
Ou soit est-ce que nous ka ouvrir un centre côté ti moun ka aller pour yo joindre l'assistance avec devoir yo?
Because the parents can't understand the homework. How are they going to help the children with the homework if they themselves don't understand it?
Parce que en pile fois parents yo pas comprendre devoir yo.
So that is something I would suggest, if because you guys came to help and we appreciate it. That is something that I would suggest we work on. That's one of them.
Et c'est suggestion ça me devait faire.
The other thing is, as we know, last year in November, there was a shantytown issue.
Et si nous m'pa compte si ou connaît que année passée dans Shantytown
Where two different settlements got demolished by the government.
nous gen deux Shantytown qui ont écrasé dans gouvernement écrasé.
And before I go on, I want to say a special thank you to our pastors that helped the community and helped those persons while they was in need.
Et avant m'avancer, me dire merci à pasteur qui te prend temps pour yo aider moun sa yo.
But we need more than that.
Mais nous besoin plus que ça.
There is only so much that the pastors and the churches can do.
Et en pile gen pasteur yo c'est yo pas ka faire tout bagay yo.
I would like to ask if we can create some kind of facility for if or when that occurred again.
Et m'ta
that these people-
demander est-ce que nous ka gen un côté pour aider peuple là si ça t'arrive encore.
We could start by building something small
Nous ka commencer avec un building petit
that could accommodate a few persons.
qui ka assister quelques moun pour le
Be-
moment.
Because Louis Georges and myself were getting called where persons just got thrown on the shantytown. We're not going to say it's the right thing. We all know it's not the right thing to do.
Moi-même-
Staying in those shantytowns are not healthy.
Shantytown yo pas bon, nous d'accord avec ça, mais moi-même avec Louis Georges nous te joindre appel côté moun yo pas gen côté pour yo rete,
They don't have any job.
yo pas gen job.
Again, immigration is not my thing, but you have persons that paid for work permit. The work permit expired in immigration when they pay for it.
M'pa vin parler sous immigration, mais nous gen quelques situations côté moun yo paye pour papier yo expiré dans immigration.
especially fathers.
En pile fois papa yo.
And the Haitian embassy is another thing,
Et ambassade haïtienne son l'autre bagay.
where persons have work permit and their passport expired for over 7 months, 8 months, a year, and can't get a job without the work permit because your passport you have to have a passport that that is not expired in order to you to get that work permit.
Et nous gen quelques situations côté passeport li expiré à cause li expiré ou pas ka prendre papier et passeport li dans ambassade là 6 mois 7 mois ou
And
pas ka joindre
Let's
passeport.
be real. How could you get a job without a work permit again?
Et qui jan ou ka faire joindre un travail sans ou pas gen permis.
So we want to see if you can assist us with those little things, starting from that, because it's a lot going in the Haitian community. The
Gen
people are
pile-
suffering.
Gen pile bagay ka passe dans communauté haïtienne ou vle konnen est-ce ou ka aider.
Because I'm going to say over again, it's not my job. Immigration is not my job. But, there are certain things that you see you must touch.
Et dis ça encore, m'pa vin parler sur immigration, mais
That's
gen
Louis George's job.
quelques bagay faut parler yo.
If you getting called day and night,
Si moun apre lo matin comme après-midi,
when God give you the opportunity to stand, you must say the truth.
les bon Dieu bon opportunité pour parler, faut parler.
So those are the things that I would like the Pan American Development Foundation to
Yes.
work on.
Et c'est ça m'ta remen pour Pan American Development Foundation, m'ta remen pour yo aider
Help us.
nous.
The people need you.
Moun yo besoin.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Now, I don't know if Mr. Luby Georges, because I don't want to take up all this time, because I see I'm talking so much today. I don't know where it comes from. But Luby Georges, ladies and gentlemen, he is here. Let's welcome him. Thank you.
Thank you, Tetley, a.k.a. Lady T. S'il vous plaît, battons bravo encore pour Lady T, qui a fait un bel travail dans la communauté. You know, people often say that wherever Tetley and I are, if you want to, people often say that wherever Tetley and I are, it's always a love fest. And they don't understand that, we're two young persons, Bahamians of Haitian descent. Grew up in the same area. We're virtually the same age. We've known each other since we were about 14, 15 years old. We were always connected since then to now. I support her in everything that she does. She supports me in everything that I do. So, si vous voulez travailler, ma bonne travail. Vous voulez travailler? Vous voulez travailler? Frappez.
OK, so on peut le monde toujours dit côté moi tête lié toujours en l'amour. Mais nous c'est des jeunes qui travaillent dans la communauté qui battent pour nous faire ça nous cap faire nous connaissons depuis l'âge de 14 ans et tout ça li fait moi supporter et tout ça moi faire li supporter.
Gen moun qui ba besoin traduire ça non pour en anglais. Gen moun qui même accusé qui dit moi avec nous ensemble parce que l'amour nous partager pour l'un et l'autre. Mais nous abattre pour nous tracer un exemple.
But we're trying to trace an example
Pour montrer et pour nous marcher avec des visas haïtiens qui dit l'union fait la force.
to walk with the motto that the Haitian themselves say union makes
In unity there is strength.
in unity there is strength.
Et pour nous marcher avec des vis Bahamas là tout.
And to walk with the motto, the Bahamian motto that says
Forward, upward, onward, together.
ensemble, en l'air, avancer ensemble.
Exactement. Je crois que vous comprenez. Et avant de commencer, je voulais dire bonjour.
Before we start,
I guess I'll translate for myself, unless you could get that sorted out. So before we begin, we want to say a very special thank you to PADF, the Pan American Development Foundation, for inviting us to be here and putting on this event. maybe with more time, maybe with more marketing next time, and I'm pretty sure that there will be a next time, right, Tanika? There will be a next one. We will be able to have more persons out. Nous voulons dire PADF merci beaucoup parce que vous prenez temps pour vous faire plan, pour vous relayer tout le monde, pour vous capable et faire programme ça aujourd'hui côté nous gain divers monde qui viennent là qui pour venir donner nous information. M'tendez m'bat là même t'ai à suivre live là sur Facebook côté moi t'a parlé des assurances et mon BAF qui là. So un bat bravo pour BAF one more time. Pasteur Soin lui, Mbakala, grand frère Pam, a fait Pam, Mbakala pour me saluer, un grand Jean, s'il vous plaît, Pasteur Saint-Louis, parce que Liban local là, pour ça qu'a fait ici. Là, yo te contacté, yo te dit que yo voulait faire un événement comme ça.
When they contacted me and they said they wanted to host an event such as this,
Ça a quelques mois.
it's been for a few months now in the making.
J'étais en conversation avec eux, Tonika, avec l'autre collègue qui pas vivre ici, nous aux États-Unis, au Canada, on côté lié.
Tonika and her colleague in Canada or
Somewhere else.
US, somewhere.
Yeah. Là, ils ont contacté, ils ont demandé mes idées, ils ont demandé OK, qui ça nous a fait dans la communauté haïtienne. Nous dit OK, il est très important si nous sommes capables de prendre divers mondes, l'autre organisation, mettez-vous ensemble pour nous bailler communauté haïtienne information que nous connaissons yo besoin.
I told her it was important to get a diverse group of persons to give the Haitian community the information that they needed.
Et nous, aujourd'hui, ça fait. Même que nous pas grand pile monde là, mais nous avons des gens qui suivent online, sur Facebook, sur l'autre plateforme. So, ça veut dire ça, la réalité online, m'a souhaité nous-mêmes pour nous aller online, là nous finissons tout, au soir nous checker pour nous partager.
And so even though the turnout is not what we wanted it to be, but we know that it's online, so we're asking everybody to go online, share the live, because the information will be there to assist the community.
Même que vous pas faire le konya, vous toujours qu'à faire, mais il est là pour tout le temps. Même ou même encore s'oublier on bagay ou qu'à revisiter et vidéo yo pour prendre information que vous avez besoin.
So even if you would have forgotten what was said during the live, you can go back, revise, and get the information that you need.
So, yo demandé moi-même pour me parler sur dossier immigration.
So I was asked to speak on immigration.
Oui, so ça veut dire nous choisi pour nous parler sur quelle catégorie permis ou soit statut application moun ka gen besoin pour yo faire dans immigration pour mettre tête en règle Bahamas.
So I decided to speak about certain permits and certain regulations that persons would need in order to make themselves legal in the Bahamas.
C'est ça moi fais chaque jour et m'a fait pour un bon petit temps.
That is what I do every day, and I think I'm going to be doing it for quite some time for now.
Et mon croit passe toujours battre pour aller l'église ou parler de bon Dieu même quoi c'est pour ça bon Dieu te voyait là.
And Dr. St. Louis is always telling me to come to church. So I believe that is why God placed me here.
Exactement. So, on parle des premières catégories, on parle des papiers.
Let's talk about the work permit.
Work permit là, que haïtien relé papier.
The work permit that Haitian culture usually referred to as papers.
Yep. Premier bagay me crois que nous devons connaître et moi que en pile haïtien pas reconnaître ça.
The first thing that we need to know that I noticed that a lot of Haitians don't know.
Département immigration Bahamas li gagne un contrat avec moun qui signé pour alias boss ou li pas gagne contrat avec ou.
The first thing that we need to understand is that the Department of Immigration has a contract with the employer, not the employee.
Ça veut dire.
What does this mean?
Les applications
When the application
tap entré dans département immigration,
was received or went into immigration,
pas oublier gon lettre qui sous li.
remember there's a letter on that application.
Yon lettre demande.
It's a request letter.
Qui est-ce qui fait demande là?
Who made the request?
C'est pas ou.
Not you as the individual.
Pas oublier tout, pendant application t'a entré, qui côté ou t'es.
And do not forget when the application was made where you were.
Ou t'es dans pays où.
You were in your country.
C'est boss là qui dit département immigration que lui-même li gagne un travail, li pas joindre un BM qui pour remplir rôle ça, moi ta remé entre étranger ça que me reconnaître là et me identifier pour venir dans Bahamas pour venir faire travail là pour moi.
So first of all, the employer would have said to the Department of Immigration, I have a vacancy that needs to be filled and I cannot find a Bahamian that's available and ready to do this job. So I would like to bring in a foreign national that I know to do the job that I have currently, the vacancy that I have available.
C'est pour raison ça,
And that is the reason
il y a une pièce principale dans l'application qui relève les babod.
that is why there's a principal piece of document that is needed called the labor board application.
Il y a un certificat qui sorti dans les babod là qui s'allie.
This certification that comes from the labor board, what is it?
Certificat ça, c'est côté boss là.
This certification comes from the employer.
Li aller devant gouvernement Bahamas, mais avant li aller devant yo, li aller dans yon journal, donc Tribune ou soit Guardian.
So the employer or the potential employer would have gone to the media houses, which was the Guardian or the Tribune.
Li fait yon avertissement côté il dit moi-même intel, moi gagne yon job, m'a chercher yon moun qui sont handyman, qui sont maid, qui sont housekeeper, quel que soit salaire, moi besoin yon moun.
So the potential employer would have went to the Guardian or the Tribune or any of the media houses to say that I have a vacancy and I'm seeking somebody to work for me.
Li bay numéro téléphone li, so ça veut dire dans journal yo pour quelques jours non moun ça numéro téléphone li dans journal quel que soit moun nan capable relèl pour dire moi ouais que ou dit ou besoin yon moun. Gouvernement Bahamas là yo mette mo so ça en place
So
pour bay citoyen pays a petit pays a bahamien pas oublier gouvernement lui-même li doit BMR avant le doit li bay yo une chance pour yo même pour yo vivre et pour yo joindre travail tout.
okay, so the Bahamian government ensures that this process is done so that the citizens of the country has opportunity and access to the vacancy that this employer claims that they need.
Konya là avec récit avec journal là yo potel dans département de ça les babod là pour yo dire OK nous pas joindre yon BM mon travail même pas joindre yon BM qui pour faire travail ça s'il vous plaît laissez-moi passer pour montrer yon étranger qui est haïtien qui est jamaïcain qui est mexicain bon me laisser passer pour montrer yon étranger pour le venir faire travail là pour moi.
So this process, after this process would have taken place, the potential employer would have taken the receipt along with the newspaper clippings to the labor board. And what they would have said or explained is that I have gone through this process and I have not found a Bahamian that is willing to do this job.
Exactement. Konya là le département Labor Board bon certificat konya là ça veut dire département Labor Board a fait département immigration connaît qui pas gon BM qui pour faire travail là nous-mêmes nous pas jeune BM qui relé nous pas jeune BM qui vient parler avec nous qui dit yo ouais travail ça et gon vide nous pas un problème nous ba certificat pour étranger ça pour haïtien ça entrer pour venir faire travail là.
So what the labor board does, it issues the certificate. And when it does this, it's letting the Bahamas government know that this person advertised the vacancy and we did not find a Bahamian, we did not find a person that came to say they are interested in this job. So they would have given the person a certificate to give them the clearance to apply to immigration.
Et c'est ça que fait encore quand pile haïtien qui gagne papier, qui fait papier, qui aide moun faire papier, Yo fait les babod là, mais quand pile monde qui pas comprendre importance graine pièce ça, c'est ça que fait l'aime te commencer me te dit nous gouvernement ou soit département immigration pas un contrat avec vous.
And that is why when I started, I told you that the Bahamian government does not have a contract or an obligation to the employee, but rather to the employer.
C'est moun k'ap signé pour c'est boss ou gouvernement reconnaître.
So the person that is signing for or applying for the work permit, that is who that the Bahamas government recognize.
Oui. Ça important tout parce que gen un pile moun qui gen papier dans mes yo,
There are a lot of persons who have the work permit in their hand.
gen bagay que yo vle faire.
There are things that they want to do.
Là yo essaye faire yo plutôt dit pays a pas bon, ou soit gouvernement c'est ci, gouvernement c'est là, États-Unis puis bon, yo pas bon nous laisser passer, comment pour me gagner un papier, moi légal dans pays, m'pa kay travail côté me vle travail.
So a lot of times, persons on the work permit, they tend to compare the Bahamas to the U.S. or they criticize the country because they feel as if the work permit limits them to working to that particular individual.
Comprendre et faire logique.
Let's try to be logical and let's try to understand.
Imaginez,
Imagine
au Chita en Haïti, au Saint-Louis, au Port-de-Paix, au Cap, quel que soit côté.
wherever you may be in Haiti, Saint Louis, Cape Haitian,
Moi-même, en tant que BME,
me as the Bahamian,
moi appliqué pour moi dit gouvernement Bahamas là pour un an t'a remis entrer tête li pour venir travailler la caille moi comme yon maid.
so I would have went to the Bahamian government and I said I need to apply for Tetley to come and work for me as a maid.
Gouvernement li dit oui, pas de problème.
The government say no, I don't have no problem.
Yon seule condition,
Only one condition.
si moun entre ou dit c'est la caille ou comme maid li pral travail.
And you said that the person is coming to my house to work as a maid.
Moun entre quelques mois passés, li la li a terre immigration entrée en dedans yon beauty salon côté moun a fait cheveux, yo joine tête li là, c'est payer la peine.
And they come and they find Tetley and they enter a salon and they find Tetley doing hair.
Est-ce que c'est contrat ça moi-même avec gouvernement de gain?
Ask yourself, is this the contract that me and the government had?
Sous qui condition tête li t'est entré dans pays a?
What was the condition that Tetley came into the country?
C'est pas pi travailler dans kay moi?
Tetley came into the country to work as a maid.
Pour qui ça connait là, c'est payer la peine moun.
So why is it now that Tetley is working in a salon?
Konya, les nous ouais des bagages à fait, est-ce que nous comprenons? Pour
So
qui
now,
raison?
when you see certain things happening now, you understand why it's happening.
Pas oublier gen yon contrat depuis au commencement. C'est pas gouvernement qui va chercher non? C'est pas gouvernement qui demande BME, moun qui gen passeport BME, s'il vous plaît, vini signer pour yon moun non. C'est moun nan, c'est ou même avec moun nan qui allait devant département immigration, devant gouvernement Bahamas qui dit que moi gen yon travail, moi pas joindre yon BME pour faire travail ça, moi ta remé entre étranger ça qui identifié pour venir faire travail ça spécifiquement.
So remember, there was a contract in the very beginning between the employer and the government where I said I needed this person to come in to do this job in particular.
N'a continuer sur mon papier.
So we will continue with the work permit holders.
Et nous allons connecter là avec assurance NIB.
So we're gonna move on to the National Insurance Board contributions.
Nous songez les te corona, les pas de travail.
Do you remember when we had the COVID-19 and there was no job?
C'est plus bel exemple donc à faire sur ça.
So I think this is going to be the best example that I can use.
Gon bagay qui relè unemployment benefits.
There was something that was called the unemployment benefit.
Unemployment benefit là, c'est pour moun qui perdit travail yo, pour moun qui pas kal travail, qui t'a contribué dans assurance nationale Bahamas NIB pendant moun ça pas gen travail nan main pour quelques semaines yo ka recevra yon aide ou yon chèque parce que moun ça tout li te kon mette cob en dedans fond.
So the unemployment benefit was for persons that were employed and contributing. And now that they were unable to work, that benefit was for them to receive something until they can work.
Me songe te gen un groupe pasteur qui te allé sur news qui t'a dit pour qui ça haïtien yo même pendant BM yo a une subvention, a une aide national insurance. Pour qui ça haïtien yo qui gen papier, qui paye assurance yo même tout yo pas joindre.
So I remember there was a group of Haitians that lobbied on behalf of the Haitians that were unable to collect and wanted to know why is it that they couldn't collect if they were paying their contributions.
Moi te fait yon chita parler avec quelques moun, moi dit yo.
And I sat and I spoke to some persons
Qui sous papier,
persons on work permits,
pas oublier boss ou avec département immigration gen qui ça contrat.
don't forget that your employer and the government, they have a contract.
As long as I have work for you, you are employed.
Tout temps gen travail pour ou ka travail.
Si pour quelque raison,
For whatever
moi-même
reason,
en tant que
myself,
boss ou
as the employer,
pas gen travail pour encore pas ka payer ou,
I cannot provide work for you and I cannot pay you.
moi dois aller dans département immigration pour me bailler une lettre pour me faire connaître que pas gen travail pour ou encore.
My responsibility as the employer is to take a letter to the Department of Immigration to let them know I do not have a job for you.
Tout temps moi ka employé ou ka là dans pays ya. Si m pas ka employé ou
As long
ou
as I
doit
can,
retourner la caille ou.
as long as I can employ you, you can stay in the country. If I cannot employ you, you must return home to your country.
Sauf si ou joignent yon l'autre monde pour signer papier pour.
Unless you find someone else to sign for you.
Mais avant l'autre monde ça ka signer pour faut que moi même moi faire une lettre pour me faire département immigration connaît que moi m'pa gen travail encore d'accord pour me laguer moun ça et intel dit que il pas gen problème lui même pour le signer papier pour lui.
But before this can happen, I have to write a letter to the Department of Immigration letting them know that I can no longer sign for you and another person is willing and able to sign for you.
Ça gen quelques semaines tout moi été allé dans le département immigration, moi été fait un chita avec et quelques grands têtes.
It has been a few weeks now since I've had a meeting with the heads at the
A few top people.
a few top persons at the Department of Immigration.
Yo dit
One of the things that was said,
si yon moun pou al met ton papier en dedans,
if someone is applying for a work permit,
si yon moun ou soit famille yon moun ap chercher boss pour yon moun,
if a person is looking for an employer for family members,
li capable pi bien pour moun nan, ou pi bon pour moun nan si nous joignent plusieurs moun pour signer green papier ça.
it will be better if that particular person can find more than one person to sign for that person.
Pas gen limite sur combien moun qui ka signer papier pour.
There's no limit as to how many persons can sign a work permit for you.
Perfect example. Maybe a neighborhood watch committee.
Or
Ou
example,
ka gon yon communauté qui dit OK, nous tout ap signer papier pour monsieur John.
a community
Ou
or
20.
or an organization to sign for a work permit.
La cour nou pas trop gros, ça veut dire m'a gon gros vieux kay, m'a gen gros vieux la cour, moi même personnellement, oui. Ça veut dire si me signe papier ça pour compte moi, est-ce que me gen 7 jours de travail ou soit 5 jours de travail vrai pour me bailler moun ça au 40 et de temps par semaine pour me bailler et pour me payer $260 minimum qui c'est salaire minimum Bahamas. Peut-être moins.
An employer must consider, a potential employer must consider, can I sign for a work permit for a particular person and ask themselves, am I able to employ the persons for the 40-hour work week as well as
5-6 days a week
5-6 days a week?
and pay the
And
minimum.
pay the minimum wage and NIB contributions? That's it.
You're correct.
And NIB contributions.
Les gen refi, les gen papier qui cancel, gen raison derrière yo que nous-mêmes nous pas même comprendre.
When work permits are canceled or rejected, there are certain reasons that are behind them that we sometimes don't understand.
Imaginez,
Imagine,
moi prends parler avec un monde qui vit dans zone pam là. M'a vivre dans ghetto peut-être.
I live in the inner city, what we call the ghetto.
Je reconnais un monde qui a un passeport BM ou soit un BM.
I know a Bahamian, Bahamian.
Li à l'aise, li d'accord.
The
Pour
person,
signer pour moi.
the person agreed to sign a work permit for me.
M'pas pour minimiser et carrière au secteur que mon a travail.
I'm not minimizing or degrading certain sectors in society.
Mais imaginez moun ça, li travail dans gaz de chaîne ou soit sécurité l'a fait ou soit l'a fait un petit job.
Imagine a person working at a minimum wage employment,
Moun ça a touché $300 par semaine.
and this person is paid $300 a week.
Moun ça nan loyer, il pa gen kay pay.
This person is renting.
Moun nan voye yon application dans département immigration et ça fait. Le OLM te commencé me dit nous, gouvernement qui contrat avec yes,
And remember that.
avec boss là.
Remember, I said the government has a contract with the employer.
Premier moun yo pral analyser au moun principal yo pral analyser c'est qui est.
The first
Boss lah.
person, the first principal person that they're going to analyze in this situation is the employer.
Là yo pral garder application bagay yo metto à côté net. C'est moun sa boss là, moun qui vient si c'est lui même n'a garder.
The
Qui
application,
côté au travail pas faire sécurité le soir.
they're looking at the employer. Where
Map
does the employer work?
Clean le soir, m'a pomper gaz, m'a
The employer is
cacha,
a cleaner,
c'est ci c'est là.
cashier.
Combien vous touchez? $300 par semaine. Ah
The
OK. Ou vle entrer yon moun
The employer's salary is $300, and they want to send for somebody.
sous les babod là, ou mentionné que ou pral payer moun sa salaire minimum Bahamas qui c'est combien? $260 par semaine.
You're telling the labor board you're going to pay this person $260 a week.
Mais ou même ou toucher $300 par semaine.
But you work for $300 a week.
Ou pas gon business pour t'a dit ou présenter yon licence business.
You don't have a business. You don't have a business license.
Là yon directeur qu'on y a là au chita ou analyser application ça. Si t'es où? Oui? Si t'es où?
If it
Pas
was
dit
you,
au méchant non mais si t'es où?
if it
Qui sont
was
à
you,
faire?
what would you do?
Est-ce qu'on pas get ouais ça impossible?
You already see that that is impossible.
So, des fois là n'a pas refi.
So sometimes when work permits are rejected,
C'est pour raison ça yo.
a lot of times it is for those reasons.
C'est ça que fait tout directeur yo dit que
And that is why the director sometimes
comme
say,
exemple,
as an example,
oui, moi même cap toucher $300 par semaine, me signer sur papier.
I may be working
Ted Lee a fait
$300.
$300 par semaine.
Ted Lee is
Il
working
sous papier à tout.
$300.
Ça sous papier, ça sous papier. Nous jouons 3 moun, nous jouons 4 moun. Qu'on y a là,
Four
pendant
persons
une
on a work
semaine,
permit.
pour 5 jours ça,
For these 5 days,
ou font un jour et demi quand même,
you work by my house one day,
ou font un jour quand Ted Lee, qui tout est fait, ou te fait deux côtés, ou te fait
Two
une
at
côté
my
là,
house.
whatever. Yo pour analyser dossier ça différent avec plusieurs moun qui pas gen gros moyens, mais là yo mette moyens ça yo ensemble là ka couvrir $260 pour semaine qui c'est salaire minimum pays Bahamas.
So there's a comparison that's going to be done between the person that has 4 sponsors and 1 sponsor on a work permit.
And I was told there's no limits.
And d'après
Pas
ça,
gen
yo
limite.
dim yo di pa gen limite.
Ouvre plus chance pour papier ou sortir ou pour un premier papier sortir pour famille ou essayer mettre 2 boss sous li sous capable. Essayer mettre 3 boss sous li sous capable. Derrière 4 là peut-être pas ka prendre non tout moun yo. Mais en dedans système là, yo reconnaître que tout moun sa yo responsable grain haïtien ça ka vivre dans pays a. Mais toujours a un grain moun principal, oui.
So even though there may be more than one person, there's always going to be a principal person.
Dossier papier a lui-même li font en pile, li grand pile bagay nous doit essayer comprendre là-dedans et faut que nous essayer retirer émotion nous apprendre loi pays a
Try
pour nous
to,
comprendre logique derrière décision que le gouvernement prend. C'est pas parce que yo pas aimé nous pas oublier bossou gagne un contrat avec département immigration, li dit met tel monde, met tel bagay. Gouvernement lui même connait là, sortez dit là c'est celle li me connaît. Boss là met des papiers en dedans, li met ton lettre, li dit il besoin papier pour 1 an. Les papiers a sorti pour combien de temps y a boli? 1 an. Si boss là te dit me vle employer moun ça, me vle papier pour 2 ans. Ou soit me vle renouveler papier ça pour 2 ans, pour 3 ans. Qui ça yo pourrait considérer? 2 ans, 3 ans. 2 ans ou soit 3 ans.
so sometimes we need to take the emotions out of the whole process so that we can understand the logic and the application process, so we don't say that it's hate or biasness.
Si m'da essayer toucher sur toute catégorie, bah sur département immigration peut-être n'a tel demain.
If I would try to touch all of the different aspects of immigration, we would be here all day.
M'de dans de Michael avec Tetli, you touché sur citizenship et puis bonheur.
I heard earlier that Tetley and Mike, they talked about citizenship earlier.
Citizenship là, lui-même, faut que nous connaissions plusieurs formes pour ça nous relève OK, il veut appliquer, petit moins veut appliquer pour passeport.
So we have to understand that there are several ways to apply for citizenship. One is the young person that wants to apply for citizenship.
Pour citizenship là, peut-être gain n'importe 4 ou soit 6 formes.
For the citizenship, there's about 4 to 6 different forms.
Faut connaître qui forme qui pour vous.
You have to understand which form is for you.
Gain forme pour moun qui gain 18 ans.
There are forms for persons that are 18 years old.
Ça c'est forme numéro 2.
That's form 2.
Gain forme pour moun qui gain 19 ans ou soit plus.
There are forms for persons 19 and over.
Ça c'est forme numéro 6.
That's form 6.
Gain forme pour moun qui marié avec BME.
There are forms for spouses of Bahamian citizens.
Gain forme pour moun qui fait par un parent BME mais ou te fait en dehors pays Bahamas.
There are forms for persons that were born to Bahamian parents that were born outside of the country.
Yon seul département immigration mais plusieurs formes pour ça pral dépend qui est souillé dans quelle catégorie ou tomber pour connaître qui est dans forme qui m'pral utiliser pour mettre affaire en dedans.
So you have there are several forms, so you have to understand what category you fall in to know which form you need to apply for citizenship.
Now, on parle des petits haïtiens.
So let's talk about children of Haitian parents.
Gen 2 formes, moun 18 ans, moun qui gen 19 ans ou plus.
There are 2 forms, the person 18 and the person 19 years and older.
Catégoriquement, l'Europe fait demande là, des moun sa yo, demande pa yo a li différent.
Categorically, those 2 persons, their forms are different.
Their request is also
The
different.
requirements are different as well.
Moun qui gen 18 ans, d'après constitution Bahamas,
the person that is 18, based on the Constitution of the Bahamas,
Yo réservé un droit pour lui pour vin citoyen bémien l'el rivé l'âge 18 ans si moun sa te fait ici par un parent étranger.
so the Constitution makes reservation for the particular person who was born in the Bahamas to apply for citizenship at the age of 18.
Basically, those persons are requesting to be registered as Bahamian citizens.
Moun sa yo simplement y a fait yon requête pour yo ka registre comme citoyen BME.
Yo ton le ou gen 18 ans parce que à l'âge 18 ans ou capable prendre décision pour tête ou.
They wait for the age of 18 because at the age of 18 you're an adult and you can make the decision on your own.
Les ti moun sa te fait avant 18 ans, li prend nationalité parent.
When this child was born, they would have taken on the nationality of their parents.
Mais à 18 ans, lui-même, les grands monde, li ka prendre décision pour tête li, s'il vle, li présenter tête li dans département immigration, li dit mon cher m'te fait dans pays a, m'ta remé pour ce passeport BME moi gagné.
So when they get 18, if they want to, they can declare that I was born in the country, I want to take on Bahamian citizenship.
Liste document que yo mande moun sa ki gen 18 ans,
The requirements that they ask the person that is 18 years old
avec moun ki gen 19 ans,
and the person
différent.
that is 19 years old, the requirements are different.
Moi te kwen nou reconnaître moun ou soit petit lot moun qui passe possession qui tal fait journal.
I know that you would have heard of persons that would have went to the Tribune or the Guardian.
In fact, they have to go to both.
Ki ale na Tribune or Guardian.
Yon nan journal yo coûte $132, yon l'autre coûte $198. Moi me konn ba tête.
One costs
132,
$132,
$198.
and the other is
Just to advertise in the newspapers that you want to be registered as a Bahamian citizen.
Pour dire que ou vle appliquer pour citizenship Bahamian.
Mais ça c'est pour moun 19 ans.
But that is for persons 19 years old.
Moun 18 ans pas gen pour yo faire ça.
The person that is 18 don't need to do this.
Si yon grain jour passé fait ou entrer ou tomber sous l'autre bord.
So if it's one day and you turn 19, you have to bring in those documents.
À 19 ans ou même wap fait yon débat pour demander ministre immigration pour naturaliser ou comme BME.
So at the age of 19, you're going to be asking to be naturalized as a Bahamian.
À 18 ans, wap font demande côté ou dit pour yo inscrire ou comme yon BME parce que constitution réserve et fait réserve droit ça pour ou des différences.
So at 18, you're asking the Bahamas government to register you because the Bahamas Constitution reserved this right for you.
Enfin, et résultat, c'est même bagay la passeport BME ou te vle.
But at the end result is that you wanted the Bahamian passport.
You wanted to be a Bahamian citizen.
You wanted to be a Bahamian citizen. Ou te vle citoyen
Mais-
Bahamian.
À cause des processus que moun 18 ans, moun 19 ans passé,
But
puis devant dans la vie ou, gen des bagay ou ka fait, gen des conséquences qui ka vini après que moun 18 ans li pas affecté il capable affecter moun qui t'est appliqué l'el te gen 19 ans.
so even though the end result may be the same, but later on in life you would see that certain things you would notice the difference and how it would affect you if you would have applied when you were 18 as opposed to applying when you are 19
Or older.
or older.
C'est ça qui fait l'important. Depuis à l'âge 16 ans, depuis à l'âge 17 ans,
That is
hier
what-
vendredi, moi mettez yon citizenship application forme numéro 2 pour yon petit fille qui a 17 ans. Li pour al gen 18 ans dans le mois de février, li gen 17 ans à faire gen temps dedans.
So that is why it's important, even at the age of 16, to begin the process. Just Friday, there's a young lady, she's going to be 18 in February, but she has all of her documents prepared, ready to make the application.
Ça gen quelques mois, maman te vinn avec li dans bureau, moi te ba yo liste tout ça y a gen besoin. Yo prend un bon petit temps, yo arrangé yo toute pièce parent, toute pièce tifia et qui c'est carte clinique, qui c'est certificat côté baptisé, qui c'est lettre l'hôpital côté le te fait là, acte de naissance maman, acte de naissance papa, toutes des pièces parents yo traduit, yo légalisé dans l'ambassade haïtienne, yo légalisé dans Foreign Affairs et Bahamas côté yo gen riban sous li, raquette police li, certificat médical li, toute lettre l'école côté le te passé. Mademoiselle vini avec tout et vendredi pendant le 17 ans, pourquoi 18 ans non? Nous mettons là dedans pour lui.
Okay, so this particular young lady, her and her mother, it took them a few months, but because the list of requirements was so long, whether it's the clinic card, the hospital letter, the letters from the various schools she would have attended, the requirements from the Haitian embassy, the requirements from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and all of the other documents that were needed, they were able to get all of them, but it took them some time.
So, c'est ça qui fait l'important pour commencer bonnet.
That is
Si
why
tu
it's
as
important.
18 ans,
It's
pour
im-
commencer, processus nan li cher. Imaginez.
If you wait until 18 to start with this long process, which is also expensive, can you imagine?
You send for from Haiti your mother's birth certificate.
Pour voy chercher baptistère maman saute Haïti,
That's about $200 to $250.
ça fait 200 à 250 dollars.
When it gets in after maybe 2 to 3 weeks,
Ça va prendre 2 ou 3 semaines, le document ça arrive naso.
after it is translated, it needs to go to the Haitian embassy to be legalized, and that's going to take another few days.
L'on fin payer pour yo tradi document ça faut voyer dans ambassade haïtien
Qui ka prend quelques jours avant de remettre tout.
qui ka prend quelques jours avant yo remettre tout.
Then that same document has to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Même document ça ou voyer dans département
Affaires étrangères.
affaires étrangères,
But
mais
nous ça fait plusieurs fois côté parents yo pense parents lui-même il te fait passeport peut-être en Haïti ou whatever m'gè acte de naissance moi.
so a lot of times what we see happen is the parents say, I have my birth certificate, I have my passport.
The birth certificate may be legit, you know.
The baptistère alika, yon bon baptistère,
But it does not have a stamp from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, affixed to the back of it.
men li pa gen so affaires étrangères Port-au-Prince sous baptistère.
And because it does not have that particular stamp, even if it were to be translated, the Haitian embassy will not legalize that document.
Plus que li pa gen so affaires étrangères Port-au-Prince, ambassade ici là li pa reconnaître document ça comme un document légal.
So affaires étrangères haïtien, li important parce que yo même yo bay et yo laissé passer yo droit côté prendre document ça, li capable utiliser dans yon pays étranger. Mais si affaires étrangères Port-au-Prince pas mettez soit yo sous li pièce ça quel que soit ambassade là yo pas jamais reconnaître li.
So
Même qu'elle bon.
the stamp that is placed on the birth certificate that comes from Haiti, it does not have that stamp from Port-au-Prince. It signifies that it's not useful in other countries. So it may be a good document or a legal document, but because it does not have that stamp from the Foreign Affairs in Port-au-Prince, they do not recognize it in the embassy at in the Bahamas, the Haitian embassy in the Bahamas.
So what happens then?
So
You have to restart the process and you have to send to Haiti for an extract of your parents' birth certificate.
So, même si vous avez payé pour document ça veut dire ou gen pour recommencer, ou vous chercher extra ça Haïti, ou recommencer processus là, ou vous chercher document Haïti, ou mener ici.
So, ça c'est simplement un exemple pour montrer nous si nous restons tant, c'est les gens qui ont 18 ans, quelques mois, nous pouvons commencer le processus là, nous pas connaître qui ça a passé, qui a ban nous un délai qui fait processus là slow down, qui ban nous barrière et regarder pour 19 ans, faites-moi entrer, j'ai 19 ans. Et si 19 ans entrer, processus dans les vins virer les différents pour qu'on y a là quand on pourra demander pour naturaliser comme yon BM même que ou te fait là Bahamas même gens si un grand monde mexicain ta vie là le marié avec yon BM après 5 ans ou 10 ans li ka fait des bandes pour naturaliser comme yon BM ou même qui te fait là c'est même processus là ou pas l'obliger passer parce que ou quitté et l'âge 18 ans fini sous et l'âge 19 ans c'est lui qui entre qu'on a.
So that is why it's very important to start early because there are delays such as the one that we had before. When you wait until you're 19, you fall in the category with other persons who are married to Bahamians, and you fall into that category with other persons, and that delay is on you.
So et nap campé là pour les moments et m'ta me ban une chance si gen moun qui gen question pour nous ta répondre question ça nous ka répondre question sous affaires immigration nous ka répondre question sur processus et visa américain visa Canada et nous là pour ça nous là pour ça m'a voulu prendre toute l'air parce que grand pile bagay nous ka dit là jodi.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that can be said today as it relates to immigration, but we're going to stop right here to entertain questions. If you have any questions, American visa, visas, applications, you can ask.
Pas oublier tout sous table là.
And don't forget
Nous
on the table
gagnons
here,
copie et toute forme pour quelle que soit catégorie permis au statut au monde qui a besoin Bahamas nous avons forme pour tout ça là sous table avec plus d'informations tout pour connaître qui ça a besoin sous table appliquer pour yon bagay dans département immigration so l'en a sorti tout si nous voulons nous capable prendre quelques dans.
and don't forget we have the display table would have all of the various applications that you would need to apply for the different services at the Department of Immigration.
Si nous avons des questions, nous ne pouvons pas nous mettre lancer. Si vous avez une question, there's a question in the back. Ou bien camper, parler fort, ou soit porter le micro à parler. Go ahead. Translate for please.
Si pour me retourner Port-au-Prince pour FM et me rester ici, combien de temps ça a prend pour yo répondre moi?
It is very unfortunate
Ça très mal
that the embassies and consulates around the world
que ambassade yo à travers le monde
they work and they're registered underneath the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
yo enregistré en bas affaires étrangères,
However,
mais
unfortunately, they do not assist with these sorts of,
yo pas assisté citoyen yo.
even though they are a branch of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Même là yo c'est yon branche des affaires étrangères yo pas assisté peuple là.
So, you would have maybe 2 to 3 options.
Ou gen 2 ou 3 options
You choose.
ou choisi.
You go to Haiti,
Ou
you
kaya-
buy a ticket, a round trip ticket for $700.
Ou ka achete ticket $700,
You fly to Port-au-Prince.
ou entre Port-au-Prince,
Maybe you're not from Port-au-Prince.
ou ka passe Port-au-Prince.
So you have to factor in all of the other expenses in hotel, transportation,
Ou
being
mette
fed, that sort of stuff.
hotel. Ou-
Your other option is
L'autre option ou,
you find a family member or friend in Haiti and you send them to Port-au-Prince to get it
ou
done. for you.
choisi ou ka contacter yon zami ou soit yon famille ou contacter yo Haïti ou soit ou voye yo.
The third option,
Troisième option
which everybody chooses,
que plus moun choisi,
is you come to an office like mine's or Mr. N.C. Charles or Manu at El Shaddai,
ou vin nan office mwen El Shaddai.
Antoine Figure when he was here. So there are private consultants that have agents that they work with in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, that can get those documents in, let's say, 10 to 14 days.
Nou gen agence privée ki ou ka travay avek yo, sa ka pran 14 jou pou yo voy chache document pou.
If it were you, Tonika,
Si se ou
which
men,
option would you take?
Tonika, ki es ou tap chwazi?
Option 3?
Ou tap chwazi option 3.
Again, it is very unfortunate that there are many consular type services that the Haitian embassy does not offer here in the Bahamas.
Sa tra mal ke an pil office ambasade yo, malgre yo travay avek zafè etranje, yo pa ka ede pep la.
Gen an pil servis ke ambassade et konsil nou ta dwe ofri nou ke yo pa ofri pa bo isit. E sou ale nan lot ambassade, lot konsil, lot pays yo tout servis sa yo ofri citoyen pa yo.
The Haitian embassy does not offer this service to the Haitian citizens, but other countries, these services are offered to their citizens.
Question in the back.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, I went to immigration to make a demand or request. My child was willing to sign for my work permit or permit to reside. When I gave them my age, they said that I was too young. I needed to look for an employer. So I got an employer, and after that, I was able to get a work permit for about a year. I wanted to pay the NIB so I could reapply, but the work permit expired before the time. So they asked me for the paper or the passport where he would have signed. The old boss? The employer. Everything was done, but the employer never came to reapply for the work permit. This process has taken about 8 months, and the employer refused to sign for the work permit. What should I do in this situation where the employer refused to give me a letter where the employer refused to give me a letter to find a next employer, but he's also refusing to sign for the work permit.
Well, firstly, the employer needs to understand that it's going to be a reflection on him or her.
Premier bagay boss la dwe konnen sap yon réflexion de lui-même.
Pas oublier gouvernement c'est avec lui, yo gen contrat.
Don't forget that the government has a contract with the employer.
Ou gen une situation nan men ou avec assurance là.
And you have a situation with the NIB.
Si assurance là pas payé, ça y a un problème pour employeur, c'est pas
If
pour
the
ça.
insurance is not paid, that's going to be an issue for you.
For the employer.
For the employer, sorry.
The employer is obligated to go to the National Insurance Board and make known to them that they are employing this individual, have that account opened up, and make the necessary contributions before that work permit can be renewed.
Mon boss la dwe ale nan assurance lan pour faire si que li paye et tout bagay droit avant li ka continuer avec application an.
Some situations that we encounter are very. Gen des situations que nous rencontrons yo unique. Tant que pour là, c'est une peut-être mon tant que pasteur Saint-Louis ou peut-être tant que moi soit l'autre nous kachita avec ou nous bien consulter pour nous guider dans ça ou ta doit faire. Question gen pour vous, est-ce que avant boss ça ou te gen un boss avant ça?
Did you have an employer before that? I was always rejected. He was the only one that applied and I got the work permit.
Mais petit tout d'accord pour signer pour dire. Yon grand petit ou deux ou trois combien tu veux? Yon? Yon seul qui a une capacité pour il va faire ça pour. Oh madame a signé pour tout. So tout court moi m't'a encouragé ou pour t'a prendre petit tout pour aller dans le département immigration pour t'a prendre un apprêtement pour louer avec directeur ou soit assistant directeur pour expliquer exactement ça ou dit là.
I would advise that you take your child and make an appointment to speak to the director or assistant director and explain and make your case known to him or her.
Moi jeune
What I find
directeur
is
I've been reliably advised by top brass at the Department of Immigration.
some information que m'gen jwen qui sorti dans mon envoyo.
Gen pile situation haïtien a dire yo même yo pas au courant de yo mais yo pas vle pour peuple mais tout pour y apaiser haïtien pour y prendre avantage sur moun sa.
There are a lot of things that officials at the Department of Immigration, they're not aware that persons in the Haitian community are enduring.
Mais si nous même nous pas présenter yo devant yo pas jamais connaît et yo pas jamais ka réagir tout pour yo ta faire un bagay qui ka peut-être en faveur pour eux.
But if they're not aware of the situation, they cannot help. I went and I told him what the boss said.
Ça va d'abord bon vrai. OK, well, et m'barone sur marché dans l'église ici et au soit quel que soit côté ou marché
I'm not sure what church you attend.
peut-être boss là il va vle écouter ou il va vle entendre ou peut-être ou ka chercher un l'autre monde tout ba numéro téléphone là pour yo relèl pour yo parler avec lui pour dire OK lettre là est préparée nous simplement vle pour signer lettre là pour release moi ou bam liberté, mettez-m libre, qu'on y a m'a chercher un l'autre monde qui pour signer pour moi. Si ou pas voulez signer pour moi, ni ou pas gain travail pour moi, s'il vous plaît, mettez-m libre.
So I would advise that you reach out to somebody to speak to your boss on your behalf.
No, he's saying that immigration told him that he is too young. So he's not. But this was long time. Okay, so you want to retry, but get from underneath that person. Right? So I understand, okay. So, pas problème là, c'est moun n'a pas yo parole, yo pas ka ouais avec lui, let la fin faite. So, no situation comme ça, honestly, is a personal thing where this individual is being difficult. It's not more so of the Department of Immigration or some, legal avenue.
So c'est pas département, c'est moun nan qui problème nan.
Yeah, it's the individual.
Without that requirement of him signing the letter, because the letter's already made, everything is already made up. He literally doesn't have to do anything besides sign. That's it. But that's still an issue.
Has he given you any indication as to why he doesn't want to sign? But pass, even if they find another employer, they will still need a release from the current employer. They can. The Department of Immigration can make a decision on it. You heard what Paul said? Now he was saying, have everything filled out with the new sponsor, whether it's you, I guess. Fill out everything and do everything that you need to do with the necessary forms, the letters, the requisite documents. Take those into immigration and at the same time explain to them exactly what is occurring with this current employer. The fact that he doesn't have any work for him. The fact that he doesn't want to give the release and he's giving you guys to run around. And the Department of Immigration, the director, they should be able to make a decision on that. But outside of that, it would just be a matter of trying to get him. Yeah, you go to the Department of Immigration and you request that meeting. They will give you a specific date and time as per his schedule. Can't say if it's going to be a week, if it'll be a month. I don't know how busy he is, but you would have to go there to his secretary and make that request. The Department of Immigration also has a very vibrant Facebook page.
Le département li gen yon page sur réseau social Facebook
with an email attached, and I can tell you that they do respond to that.
Ki gen yon email et m'ka dou ke yo
So maybe you would want
yo
to
fè
send them
repos.
a message both on the email and their Facebook page, Facebook Messenger, not a comment in a chat, and explain in depth the situation that your dad is occurring and try to be properly advised.
Et voyons un message sur Messenger ou email de situation an, et yo ka repon nou.
I think it's www.immigration.gov.bs. You should be able to find it. It's very easy for you to find that. And like I said, I've randomly, and I've had other persons randomly send messages to them, and they do respond in a timely manner via that. Now, trying to get them on the telephone may be a different story.
Mwen voye repons, e plize moun voye repons sou Facebook, e yo repon yo.
All right? Outside of that, if you want, you guys can, I'm pretty sure you can come and see Pastor Selby. Or you can also come to my office and we can sit down and we can talk a bit more on that if there's anything that we can help you with, making phone calls or contacts. We're here for that. We're here to give technical assistance as much as any other form of assistance.
Ou ka visite office Dr. Antoine Saint-Louis, ou soit ou ka visite office mwen ki se...
The office is Consulting Beyond Boundaries. We're on Robinson Road and Key West Street. We're directly across the road from Popeye's Chicken in the Gary's Plaza. There's a barber shop to the top. There is 2 clothing stores to the bottom, one that sells female clothes and one that sells babies' clothes. So we're right on top. So you could feel free, pop in. We're there Monday to Friday, 9:30 to 5 o'clock every day. So
Et tous les de office yo louvri lundi à vendredi.
There may be a few people that may, I don't know, I don't want to promise anything, but we may be able to make a phone call or two and just ask a question or two on your behalf and see where we can go from there, even if the result is, okay, this is how to get the appointment with the director. All right? All right. Question?
Would you have contacted the employer to try and release the person? And they're refusing to do that as well. Okay. And then a question for you in reference to the third option that Tonika took. Is there a fee for that?
Yes, unfortunately there is.
Okay.
And I often say that, I honestly wish some of the things that I have to do that I didn't have to do them. But yeah, there is a fee, and that fee mostly comes from the part of the agents that you have to work through that are in Haiti, then the courier fees to come in, which also includes translation. So a birth certificate can run you into $200 to $250.
And then, as you were talking and you talked about the different documents that are required, is there a checklist that can accompany the forms that they can, as they're going through the forms?
Yeah, well,
have
each
that checklist?
form, actually, there is, yes. Yes. Yes, there is a checklist. What I normally do at my office with these sort of things is I would take this and I would also translate this and hand it over to individuals who are coming in and asking questions and want to consult on the different categories of permits or status that they're seeking. So yeah, so pour sous table yo gen form yo ni gen liste document que yon moun ap gen besoin pour capable mettre forme ça et en dedans. So yeah. So he's asking if somebody had a work permit application in and that work permit application was canceled, does he have to start at zero, meaning getting fresh documents, police records, medical certificates, labor board certificate, that sort of thing? En premier papier? Renouvelé? Now, it's a renewal, so I asked him if it's a first-time work permit or a renewal. He's saying that it is a renewal. My question would be, canceled, why? Est-ce que c'est refi ou ba ou est-ce qu'il cancel?
Ok, yo mande pour boss lan faire interview dans espace de 90 jours, mais boss lan pas de getan ouais email lan, ça vinn cause yo vinn cancel papier.
The paper was canceled because the boss did not do the interview within the time frame.
What you can do, ça nou ka fè, m'pa konnen combien de temps ça a gagné.
What you can do,
Pa bliye gen process reconsidération.
just remember there's a reconsideration process.
For the pour reconsidération,
The The
Wap-
reconsideration process,
Ou pas besoin de forme pour ça, c'est une lettre,
you don't need a form, but rather it's a letter
boss là a signé
that the boss has to sign
et avec $200 ou qu'on est tout bas, là, on peut en dedans immigration c'est
with
$200.
$200 or
Ou a bien
$200 fee.
lettre là, ou a bien $200 ou a payer immigration, ou a bien ou a mettre bout de photo là-dedans.
Which includes your picture.
Après ça, nous mettons là dedans l'immigration pass. Am I missing anything for that process? For reconsideration? Yeah, it's just a letter. There's no form for reconsideration. Pas un forme pour ça. Ou simplement taper en lettre, boss la mandé, s'il vous plaît, m'ta remé pour nous reconsidérer décision nous te prend sous telle application. OK? Si ça pas gain 3 mois. Il gain 3 mois? Il gain 3 mois? All right then, yeah. Mettez numéro de téléphone tout sur application pour être capable de les boss là et dit boss là toujours suivi mais li toujours make sure téléphone li on parce que à n'importe moment il est capable de le.
Ask the employer to check the email often.
Bonsoir. Question pas maintenant, moi j'ai deux questions, m'a posé premier et deuxième. Moi j'ai un papier, moi mettais en dedans depuis année passée. Mars, oui, année passée. Moi yo poko jamais dit rien. Mais puis gros problème moi gagné, chaque fois moi mandé yon moun s'il vous plaît OK, mandé boss là pour la checker pour moi pour demander pour connaître est-ce que qui ça fait. Il toujours dit me pas fait rien sur lui. C'est moun pour mettre travail sur lui.
All right. D'après et m'ka dit ça parce qu'il pas démentir d'après directeur immigration.
Based on, so she was asking, she was saying that the boss, she applied for a work permit since last year March, and she's not gotten a response. And she was advised to, I guess, solicit persons to assist.
Est-ce que c'est premier papier?
It's the first.
Well, first we need to know that there is a backlog on immigration.
Premier bagay nou bezwen konen gen yon backlog, ça veut dire gen pile application que yo pou kon fè réponse.
That backlog stems mostly from the 2021-2022 applications and permits that were approved.
Et a backlog ça li à cause de 2021-2022 dans temps de pandémique là.
Papier, majorité papier qui était sorti 2021 et bonnet en 2022, papier ça ou pas de jamais interview sur yo. Ça veut dire yo te bay moun ça ou papier yo sans que yo pas département pas contacter boss moun ça yo pour yo faire recherche nécessaire sur yo question yo te doit poser yo. So konya y a pas pu yo retracer pour faire travail qui te doit faire 2021 2022 et konya y a fait travail ça. So ça veut dire moun qui a renouveler papier yo pas de interview konya y a fait interview ça fait ouais moun a mettre papier renouvelé pourquoi ka jamais joindre li. Ou même tout qu'on y a là qui vient mettre un premier papier en dedans, ou ka gen tan imaginer qui côté ou camper sous ligne ça. Mais et directeur fait me connaît que si on moun mette un papier en dedans, il dit après 3 ou 4 semaines boss là doit contacter yo ou soit lui même venir dans immigration pour joindre un update et sous papier ou quel que soit ça moun a mette en dedans parce qu'il dit li important pour yo venir. Mais par contre si est-ce que boss ou ta allé?
Immigration is advising that employers do a check-up or a follow-up after 4 weeks.
Si boss ou pas vle aller, pas oublier l'aime te commencer ça me te dit à qui est-ce que contrat?
So remember at the beginning that the government has a contract or a responsibility to the employer, not the individual.
Kounya si boss nan pa vle ale,
So
kounya
if
la
the
wap
employer can't go,
obligé
you're going to be
chercher yon
obligated.
avocat ou chercher yon consultant ou yon
Find a
pasteur qui gen bon
consultant
cœur qui
or a
ka
pastor
accompagner dossier a ka
or a
checker pour
lawyer that
peut-être.
can help.
Li ka ale pour li avec boss là pour li parce que dit deux moun ka signé, trois moun ka signé, est-ce que li ka signé tout lui même?
Can my husband sign if he has a work permit?
Moun qui gen papier ka simplement signer permit to reside pour moun.
Persons with work permits can only sign for a permit to reside.
So si c'est work permit, papier travail qui ou te mette en dedans pour moun ça c'est sous papier travail lié tout, il va bon travail.
A person on work permit cannot employ someone else.
Mais si par exemple papier ça pas en dedans pour ou te en Haïti, lui-même il te ka faire une demande pour dire OK, moi-même moi légal dans pays a, mais combien quoi m'a touché dans pays a, mais qui côté me travaille dans pays a, mais qui côté m'a vivre dans pays a, moi ta remé pour me voyer chercher madame moi pour venir vivre avec moi. Yo ka bay papier ça mais yo pas ta ou même yo pas ta droit ou même pour travail.
So
Ou
if
tap
you-
dans pays a légal oui, mais pas ta droit pour travail ou tap en bas moun ça. Barrio, c'est lui responsable pour prendre soin.
So if your husband was, if you were in Haiti, your husband being a work permit holder would have been able to apply for a permit to reside for you based on his salary and his income and living conditions. He would have been able to send for you on a permit to reside, and hence you would have been able to live in the country legally. But you would not
Without
be
the right
able
to work.
to engage in gainful employment.
Woman? All right.
Question que je voulais poser, M. Loubi. Est-ce que vous pas un rapport avec mon ambassade haïtien, consulat haïtien? Parce que je couche un passeport en juillet. Je checké, je ne peux jamais je ne avant papier a fini 12 décembre, je ne peux pas mettre dedans. Je arrive, yo dit comme ça pour me faire un ID. Je retourne là, puis sur le consulat pour me la caille là. Pour me tourner porter bout de photo ali. Mon gon son qui souffle qui dit me faut me payer $25 pour me joindre ID ya. Si me pas payer, m'a joindre dans 3 jours. Me tourner 3 janvier, me aller coucher yo ba me resi ID ya 18 décembre, me retourner 3 janvier, l'aime rivé oh yo pas fait livraison. Ça me resi te font ti fâché, me dit bon mes amis, me coucher passeport, me pas ka joindre m'gen ID, récit ID, en pas ka jouni. Yo madame si marcha kon l'autre bout de photo encore. Me dit bon, ces photos m'a plaît de ma chance marqué, c'est pour me vinn point. Nous dit après 3 jours, on pas gain temps. Quand il 2 heures au fait, me ta remet connaît est-ce que pas gain un comité qui ka rendre moun yo fermé bon 3 heures ou 4 heures après moun nan ka mande un petit permission là il jouni.
So her question, does the community have a relationship with the Haitian embassy because she's applied for a passport from last year, July, and her work permit expired in December, and she cannot renew it because the passport is invalid. She went to the Haitian embassy and they asked her to make an ID, which is $25, and once she applied for that, she was unable to get the ID, and now they're asking her to bring another picture, and they're still unable to provide her with this ID that the embassy is issuing.
Ambassade haïtienne, ça, d'après moi, même pour longtemps, il y a un pile problème dans la communauté. Mais, je connais, dans le mois de décembre, ils ont annoncé qu'ils ont fermé les 22 pour ouvrir les 2 janvier.
I know in December they said they were going to try to open.
They were closed on the 22nd to the 2nd of
They were
January.
closed from December 22nd to the 2nd of January.
So, ou di ou te mette pièce là en dedans, ça ka dépend tout et pendant période que yo fermé, ou pas raconter ça. M'a fait excuse pour yo non, mais période que yo te fermé, nous pas capable et compter mot sur ça. Mais jeudi c'est combien 13? Jeudi 13 et janvier, si m'te ou lundi m'ta aller m'ta checker, même connaît ambassade haïtienne, yo gagné quelques organisations qui ont respecté, quelques monde qui ont respecté dans la communauté qui ont collaboré avec eux tout, par exemple association pasteur, ligue pasteur.
There are some organizations that has a good relationship with the Haitian embassy. For instance, the Pastors Association.
Et moi-même tout j'ai une bonne relation avec l'ambassade là,
relationship with them.
Que me reconnaître en dedans, qui travaille en dedans. Nous là pour nous bailler service dans la communauté. Si vous voulez, vous pouvez passer dans le bureau à tout, vous pouvez nous donner, nous pouvez faire contact pour, nous pouvez voir qui ça qui cause ou pas joindre et certificat d'identité parce que nous connaissons bagay là même dans l'ambassade là qui vous fait, c'est pas un bagay qui a vous chercher. C'est très facile pour ta bon ça. Est-ce que c'est ouais ou pas well? Est-ce que c'est perdu dossier, perdu ou application? Qui ça dit exactement?
What did they tell you?
Pour m'aller derrière encore parce que yo te bam rendez-vous pour me tourner pour passeport octobre. Là me retourner octobre m'ba journée, me retourner décembre. So m'a retourner back. Pour français, il ka apparaît m'a chercher.
Pas de problème.
I will try again.
Bonsoir l'église. Moi, j'ai deux questions. Première question, est-ce que si ou passez 30 permis, ou porter une résidence en dedans, ou porter
Okay. What if you have 30 work permits and you take your permanent resident application in? After how many time would you should receive a response from the Department of Immigration?
Ça, c'est une question, il y a un monde qui peut répondre parce que le processus dépend du département d'immigration, il peut dépendre du cabinet Bahamas tout parce que les applications fin passer dans le département d'immigration, les fin fait interview avec mon c'est dans le cabinet et bureau premier ministre là yo voyé yo. So, ça va dépendre des quantités et applications citizenship ni résidence que vous gagnez soumis et ça va dépendre de les yo réunis. Les yo réunis yo gon quantité que yo gardé. Chaque les yo réunis yo gardé une quantité. Ça veut dire ministre immigration les yo tout réunis. Ministre immigration li gen morceau pal pour faire présentation pal. Mon cher monsieur Damio et collègue moi mes dossiers moi aime pour nous garder est-ce que n'a bay moun sa yo citizenship ou est-ce que n'a bay yo résidence sa yo. Si par exemple yo bay 15 minutes 20 minutes pour ta parler pour faire présentation peut-être il gagne n'importe 3 ou 4 ou 10 il ka présenter. Mais si gagne n'importe 500 1000 applications en dedans ou elle ka prend un petit temps. So il pourra dépendre question ça pas gen monde qui ka répondre pour vous qui là sauf ou aller dans le département immigration pour pour faire follow-up sur l'application. Moi, je ne pas perdre ça. Si vous êtes capable, ou un petit tour, faire accompagner nuit. Dans le bureau Monarch House, qui est en East Bay Street, c'est eux même qui dit là avec les résidents, c'est pas en l'air aucun style là. En bas, nuit, aller, follow-up. Des fois, toute application qu'a perdu ou pas même connaître. Ah, il fait octobre. All right. Just continue à checker yo, parce que pas de monde qui a dit combien de temps yo ka prend.
My,
Merci, pasteur.
so what Dr. St. Louis was saying that the immigration process, it's sometimes lengthy. The person that receives the application is not the person that has the answers. The receptionist receives the application process, and then it goes through different hands and different offices before it reaches the person who makes the final decision. And you still have to continue applying for your work permit while waiting for your residency application. My second question is, if they give you permanent residence, and they gave you the permanent resident card for 10 years, should you pay when you go and renew the
Oui.
permanent resident card?
On va payer pour renouveler 4 là.
You will pay
Ti
to,
4 là.
you will pay to
C'est
renew the
c'est
card.
pas résidence ou à renouveler non?
You're
Parce
not
que
renewing
résidence
the
yo
permanent residence.
boli net pour la vie, li permanent. Mais 4 là, li ka expirer. C'est même genre avec National Insurance.
The card is
C'est-
just like the national insurance card.
4 national OK, c'était pour inscrire avec assurance, ou gen assurance net, numéro assurance ça il pour net
You have
pour
your
toute vie
NIB
tel ou mourir.
number until you die.
Mais green 4 que yo bon là,
But the card that they
4
give
là
you,
ka expiré.
the card can expire.
C'est une façon tout pour yo make sure moun sa ou là toujours tout.
It's a way to
Pour yo
ensure
vérifier.
that the person
Ou
is
bon.
still here and
So
to
yo boli pour
verify.
10 ans, c'est simplement 4 là ou renouveler, mais c'est
It's-
pas mandé ou pas demander pour yon l'autre statut ou pour renouveler comme yon permanent résident ou résident sous là tel ou mourir. C'est 4 là ou renouveler.
You're renewing the card, the physical card, not the permanent residency.
So we're going to take our last question.
Question pas maintenant. M'te gen résidence moins petit 4 la grave. Vieux dans poche point parce que ancien petit 4 yo te bail pas gen plastique sur yo. Quand yo fait me faire tout bail, m'a reporté faire application payer $200 pour petit 4 là. Il gen 3 ans. Yo va jamais bon moi.
Ben qui sont fait dans l'espace 3 ans
Chaque
ça.
malé yo dit pour comparer. M'gen fait m'gen voyager sur certificat là.
What?
Ouais. Chaque malé yo dit pour comparer.
Et Bavle faire marketing, bat vin faire marketing, mais souvle ou nous ka checker ça pour ou ka vin checker dans bureau. Ou pas besoin? All right.
Okay, so we just have one last presenter. They're not going to be long, so I'm sure if you have any follow-up questions for either Tetley or Luby, we will definitely stay a little bit longer and entertain it. So here's Rochelle Lightborn. She's just going to touch on stressors and coping mechanisms. And then definitely during our next session, we'll expand it a little bit more.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to apologize because this is going to be very, very short. I had a time slot from 1 to 2. I think the last session is so very important.
Mwen konet ke sesyon, denye sesyon li important.
It was actually very interesting for me as well.
Li te
And I wanted it
interesant
to
pou mwen
last
mèm
longer.
tou.
I wanted it to last longer, and if I had the time, we could stay here well until 5 o'clock easily.
Si mte gen tan nou te ka arete la tel,
However, as I listened to him,
pandan map koute ou,
it reinforced some of the information I wanted to share with you.
I ban plis kouraj pou m pataje informasyon ke map
Because,
ban nou an.
because it gives me an appreciation for the stress that you go through with your entire process.
Paske li ban yon apresyasyon pou stres ke Haitien genyen avek prosesis sa.
When I think about the fact that there is a need to migrate to another country, that in itself is stressful.
Lem panse de prosesis kote wap kite yon peyi pou a viv non lot peyi, m rekonet sa se yon pil stres.
Sometimes to build relationships with people like the gentleman who had somebody that sponsored him and then stopped. To build those types of relationships and have them fail, that's also stressful.
E lem panse de mesye a kote li fin bati yon relasyon avek yon boss, le fini boss la pa vle aplike pou li ankor. Sa se yon stres.
As you go through the process of applying and reapplying,
Stres kote wap aplike e reaplike,
finding the funds to do so,
e pou jwen l'ajan pou fè sa,
getting the necessary documents.
pou jwen dokiman yo,
Again, we're talking about stress.
ankor sa se yon pil stres.
Based on those stressors,
Dapre stres sa yo,
there are some other things that might occur.
gen kek bagay ki ka arrive.
Like persons who might be in relationships,
Gen moun ki ka nan relasyon,
and those relationships becoming abusive.
e relasyon sa ou ka jwen kote ou jwen abisman nan relasyon yo.
Other situations like the lack of funds to take care of your family.
E ou ka jwen yon instant kote ou pa ka jwen l'ajan pou pran soin fami ou swa avek paye pou papye ya.
And then not having a work permit and finding that in addition to all of those other things, you now have to sneak and hide and duck and dodge immigration.
E apre tout sa ke ou pa jwen l'ajan pou paye pou papye ya, ou pa ka jwen travay, le fini ou wap jwen yon lot stres kote wap kache pou imigrasyon pa pon.
So we definitely need to address this whole business of what you go through and how you cope with it.
E nou dwe adrese problem stres ke Haitien an dire e ki jan yo ka deal avek stres sa.
While you might have some resources that are available to you,
Mgen kek resous ki pou ou,
particularly for the female,
espesyalman pou fam yo,
who gives so much of herself
ki bay tet yo pou fami yo,
to her children,
pou timoun yo,
to her mate,
pou an mari li,
to just trying to survive.
pou l kapab jwen la vi.
It's very difficult
Li difisil
to find someone to talk to.
pou jwen yon moun pou pale avek li.
And what we do is that we internalize that stress,
E sa nou fe an pil fwa nou kembe tout bagay an dan,
and that creates other problems, and some of those problems end up being medical issues.
e an pil fwa tout sa nou kembe yo an dan, li vin toune yon problem medikal pou nou.
So when I speak to you about stress and the management of it,
E lem pale de stres e ki jan pou manage stress,
one of the things that I want you to truly understand
yon bagay ke m realman vle pou kompran,
is the fact that stress is far-reaching.
stres la li an pil.
We're talking about hypertension.
Nou pale de tansyon,
We're talking about migraine headaches.
nou pale de tet fe mal,
We're talking about menstruation cycles that go out of whack.
Nous parler de dame nan qui gen yon règle qui ka pa vini jan ta dwe vini.
And that's just the physical side.
Et ça simplement physiquement.
We're talking about forgetfulness,
Nous parler de moun ka bliye en pile,
being disoriented,
moun nan tête li pa la,
and sometimes having a full-blown mental disorder.
et en pile fois mentalement ou ka perdre force.
And that's just the mental side.
Et ça c'est simplement partie mentale là.
And then sometimes we do have some changes in behavior.
Et en pile fois nous ouais côté moun nan li pa ka comporter tête, gen un changement dans jan comporter tête li.
Where a person who might one day be a social drinker
Et un moun ou ka ouais qui te kon boire
find
qui kon boire socialement,
that they become alcoholic or dependent on the alcohol to cope.
yon moun qui te kon boire socialement li vini yon moun on ta fi a terre ka boire chaque jour.
And then of course in our younger population,
Et à travers jeune nou yo,
we have a lot of the marijuana usage.
nou we en pile nan yo fume marijuana.
And that's just the behavior side. Sorry? Behavioral side.
Et ça c'est jan yo comporte tête yo.
Of course, there's also that spiritual side.
Et nous gade partie spirituelle là,
Where some of us would have prayed and prayed and prayed.
et moun a prié la prié,
And nothing happened.
et rien pas arrivé.
Or we feel that God is not listening to us.
Et nous ka penser que bon Dieu pas écouter nous.
Or answering our
Et
prayers.
il pas répondre prière nous.
And then we resort to other things as
Et
well.
nous chercher réponse dans l'autre avenir.
So in reality,
En réalité,
stress affects your entire being.
stress là li affecte toute partie de ou même.
In many different ways.
Et en pile gens différents.
When we look at the abuse,
Là nous garder abus,
we see a cycle where a husband might beat his wife.
nous écoute Maria li ka bat madame li.
We might see the wife abusing the children.
Nous écoute maman li raté tout stress là sous ti moun nan.
And then we see the children going to school and fighting other children.
Et nous wè ti moun nan la l'école la bataille ak l'autre ti moun.
And again, it becomes a vicious cycle.
Et ça vient yon on bagay qui continue.
I do look forward to having the opportunity
Moi m'ta souhaité que m'joigne l'autre opportunité
to really speak on these items with you.
pour m'parler de bay stress sa yo dans communauté a.
Because stress is almost like a silent killer.
Parce que stress là son bagay li trop doucement, li ti yo doucement.
One of the initial things that happen
Yon nan bagay ki rive,
is that our body responds. All of us
nous
respond the same way.
toutes nous répondons même genre physiquement.
So if you can imagine your body positioning to fight for citizenship, fight for a work permit, fight for your rights, fight for your place, fight for your stand, your body responds to that. And what happens is,
Et est-ce qu'on peut imaginer que l'esprit wap dou pour bataille pour ça, est-ce qu'on peut imaginer ça qui arrive?
breathing increases,
Jean ou point souffle,
blood pressure increases,
tension ka monter,
adrenaline increases,
adrénaline ou ka monter,
stomach acids start to flow.
ou acide dans ventre.
And so if you're experiencing stress every day,
Si ou point stress chaque jour,
at the end of the day,
dans fin journée,
the result is
résultat c'est
high blood pressure
tension,
that can lead to a stroke.
ça ou ka fait stroke,
You can have the migraine headaches
ou ka gen tête fait mal,
that can really shut you down from producing, from working.
qui ka
from
fò pa ka
performing.
travail ou soit produit j'on ta dwe produit.
You can have diabetes.
Ou ka gen diabète sick, ça yo di sick, fait sick.
And so we have all of these other related things that happen.
Ou gen lot maladie ça yo ki ka arrive ou.
And there are some times when you can go to the doctor
Et gen kek fò ka nan docteur
And you might be presenting as hypertension or high blood pressure,
Ou ka gen tension ou ka wo, ou ka fait tension,
and you are given medication,
et yo bon remède,
and nothing happens.
et remède yo pas travail.
And they call it stubborn pressure.
Et yo dit c'est on tension qui gen tête di.
But it's only because
Mais c'est simplement parce que
they do not understand
yo pas comprendre
the amount of stress
stress que ou gen,
that you go through.
que ou gen.
And we need to deal with that.
Et nous gen pour nous deal avec stress avec ça.
We need to talk about it.
Nous devons parler de ça.
We need to be honest
Nous devons être
about how it
honnêtes
affects us.
des gens ça affecté nous.
And then we need to start to really look at how we can effectively cope
Et faut nous regarder qui gens nous ka vivre effectivement
before it kills us.
avant stress tuer nous.
And so I just wanted to do a little introduction
Et me devais faire introduction ça,
as to what I would like to share with you
ça me devait partager avec nous
the next time we meet.
l'autre fois que nous réunis.
Because we don't need you to get ill.
Parce que nous pas voulons pour malade.
Because during a process that is strenuous as yours,
Parce que un processus comme ça, j'en la vivre ici.
there's so many things that can become obstacles,
Il y a un pile bagay qui ka vinn un problème
and you don't need one of them to be illness.
et ou pas vle pour gen maladie. À travers tout ça ici a passé, yo pas besoin maladie.
So please be encouraged.
So me vle encourager nous-mêmes
Attend all of these sessions.
vinn dans toute session ça yo.
Get all of the information that you need to equip you to do things the right way.
Prends toute information que ou besoin pour faire ba yo non façon qui droite
And stay informed.
et rester avec information.
I do look forward to seeing each and every one of you here again
M'vle wè nous chaque qui là encore
as we talk about this and address this whole business of stress and how you manage it effectively.
et pour nous parler de stress et gens nous ka manage stress.
And I want to close with this.
Et m'vle fermer avec ça.
It seems as though everything that you have to do has a fee, a monetary fee attached to it.
Et d'après ça m'tande il semble tout ça haïtien vle faire, li gen l'argent que yo besoin.
And it's overwhelming when you don't have the funds to do what you have
Et
to do.
li en pile stress l'on pas gen l'argent pour faire ça vle faire.
And so again,
Et on
you need
comble
to
d'eau
get the information that is required
ou gen pour chercher information que yo besoin hein,
and see how you can save.
et chercher qui gens ou ka serrer l'argent.
But
Mais
you have to also make sure
pour faire ci
that you're safe.
que ou non côté
You have to
safe.
protect your children.
Faut protéger timounou,
You have to protect your family.
faut protéger famille ou.
And you can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself.
Et ou pas ka faire ça sous pas prendre soin tête ou.
Thank you for having me.
Merci d'être que nous te
I do
gagné.
apologize for sharing little information.
Encore demande nous excuse d'être que m'pas partager en pile information.
And I would love, love, love to see you again and give you all of the
Et
information.
m'ta remet ouais nous encore pour m'ban nous information que nous mérite nous besoin.
Thank you and I wish you well.
Merci. Nous souhaitons nous.
Okay, if you have any more questions that Luby can answer, you are free to ask those now. Everybody's good? Everybody's okay? All right, well, I'll close. So, good afternoon again.
Bon après-midi encore.
My name is Tanika Sweeting,
Nom c'est Tonika Sweeting.
Project Coordinator for the Pan American Development
C'est moi
Foundation
qui coordinateur pour PADF
from the office in the Bahamas.
pour office dans Bahamas.
Thank you so much for coming out today.
Merci d'être côté vini jodi a.
We hope that our next service fair
Nous souhaitons que l'autre projet, que service que nous gagnons,
is even more successful than this one.
li gen plus succès parce ça.
We appreciate you all coming out today,
Nous apprécions ou même qui te vini jodi a
as every seat counts.
parce que tout le monde compte.
So PADF
Organisation PADF là,
provides grant funding
li bay provision pour grant
to initiatives here in the Bahamas
pour initiation dans Bahamas
that can help build capacity
qui ka aider capacité
and also offer assistance.
et lui offrir assistance.
I hope that you learned something new today,
Je souhaite que vous appreniez un bagay nouveau aujourd'hui,
something you can take back to help yourself and your families.
un bagay que vous ka aller back et partager avec famille ou.
Should you need any of the immigration forms,
Si vous avez besoin de forme immigration,
they're here for the taking.
yo là pour ka point yo.
I'm sure Luby, just in case you think of one on your way out, he can answer your questions.
Si vous avez une question pendant vous sorti, Loubi ka répondre nous.
We'll be hosting another service fair in mid-February.
Nous avons l'autre projet comme ça en février.
We'll confirm the dates and circulate the information.
N'a confirmé date là et n'a bay n'a mis des formations au dehors.
I want to say a special thank you to Victory Chapel.
Je voulais dire un merci spécial
Church
à
of the
Victory
Nazarene.
Chapel, l'église Nazarene.
Thank you to the wonderful Lady T,
Merci à Lady
Tetley
T, Tetley,
Luby Georges.
Loubi,
I'm
Georges.
I'm sure the work that you are doing and will continue to do
Et je
will
souhaite que le
continue
travail
to be
va
a
faire.
pioneer in your community. And he will continue to be a pioneer in this community.
Et on va continuer à travailler dans la communauté.
We appreciate you all.
Nous apprécions.
Other notable mentions and thank yous go out to Pastor Mike,
Nous disons merci à Pastor Mike,
Miss Sands from BAF Insurance,
Miss Sands, Assurance BAF,
and of course Rochelle Lightbourne for their presentations today.
et Rochelle Lightburn pour présentation aujourd'hui.
There are light refreshments at the back. You are more than welcome to take them home. Please feel free to take 2 bags because we're a small group today, very intimate. And we're looking forward to seeing you all again for the next service fair.
Et nous souhaitons et nous attendons dans l'autre projet qui a fait dans le mois qui va venir.
Thank you.
Merci. On va parler.
Again, we want to say thank you to Ms. Smith for working with us at Victory Chapel and UHAB. And we're glad that you are here.
Nous voulons dire merci à Miss Sweeting pour d'être qu'elle a choisi pour travailler avec UHAB, avec Victoire Chapelle.
A lot of information has been given.
En pile l'information yo partagé aujourd'hui.
And I wish we had more time
Souhaiter que nous ayons plus de temps
to listen to Ms. Lightburn,
pour nous écouter Miss Lightburn
because that is one of the things that everyone needs.
parce que c'est un bagage tout le monde besoin.
In our next sessions,
Dans l'autre session yo,
in fact, even in church, we will invite her,
même dans l'église là m'koy n'a invité
because stress is the cause of almost everything
parce que stress c'est lui qui cause presque toute bagaille
that is negative.
qui négatif.
Let's give Miss Smith some love in the house.
Nous bay Miss Sweden
Miss Sweden,
Sweeting.
some love in the house. Amen, amen. Thank you for coming, and we say thank you to Louis. So that's what he lived for. So my job is that he become a member of this church, become a pastor, because you have the talent, the gift.
Louis gen talent, nous espérer que lui vini un pasteur.
But we give God thanks for the work that he is doing.
Nous dis bon Dieu merci pour le travail qu'elle a fait.
Thank you, everybody.
Merci tout le monde.
See you next month.
Nous
See you
n'attendons
next
l'autre
month.
mois, n'attendons l'autre mois.
Let's give God thanks and prayer.
À nous prier.
Minister, I pray for us since you've been doing the interpretation all the time.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love and your compassion. We thank you, O God, for the persons that you have placed on this journey, O God, to help the Haitian community here in the Bahamas. We are so ever grateful, O God, for the work that they plan and will continue to do, Lord God. We pray for your continued guidance, O God. We pray, O God, for each person that has a vision to see the Bahamas and the Haitian community move forward. We pray that you would equip them, and we pray that you would encourage them, and we pray, oh God, that all things will work together for those that love you, and all glory will be given to you. This we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Good evening and God bless you.